This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Good morning. Another great morning because the Lord has blessed us. We have opened our eyes and we get to enjoy another day on a Tuesday, March 14th. Hope you all are doing well out there. I know the Dolphin Nation has got to be happy. The Heat Nation is happy. They won last night. The Investment Nation is happy because if you took the Jazz plus 7.5, as I've told you many, many times over, you won again. So the Heat won and you won. You can't get any better than that, right? Bitcoin crosses 26,000 this morning. I think it just fell under 26,000 just like 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. It just fell under 26,000. Let me see. It's at 25,848. So it blew past the 25 and it went to 26,500. Something like that. So, and then it came back down a little bit now. So it's a really good day, I got to say. You know, the markets are doing well. The crypto market's doing well. The Dolphins are doing well. The Heat won last night. You know, it's good. It's good. Even though the Heat game was driving my ass crazy. Although I was like, you know, what a gift. How come Vegas hasn't caught up with that yet? The whole favored the Heat by a lot of points. That's the weirdest thing, right? Isn't it odd that Vegas still has not caught up and they keep giving us gimmies? And we've all made quite a bit of cash here. If you keep riding this, we're practically undefeated here. I mean, it's money in the bank when they favor the Heat by too many points. It's really awesome. It's impressive as hell, actually. But anyway, they survived last night, 119-115. Butler plays his ass off like he always does every single night. Gabe Vincent was on yesterday. That was a nice little performance for him yesterday. They'll take on Memphis tomorrow. Panthers are off till Thursday. I think Memphis beat Dallas yesterday again, right? And I think the poor Dallas Mavericks ended up losing yesterday. Was Kyrie and Luka on the floor last night? Let me see if I'm correct. If it was last night or was it the night before that So much shit going on. No, it was last night. 104-88. The Grizzlies beat the Mavs. Yeah, I don't know. I actually think the Grizzlies can beat this Heat team right here. Dallas, let's see. No. Let me see. No Luka. Oh, no wonder, bro. There was no Luka and no Kyrie. They must be tired. I mean, Luka's got to be tired because he carries all that weight. So, I mean, take it from me. Carrying a lot of weight it's not fun. It's not fun. So it becomes a little extra work. So I can't imagine what Luka Doncic is doing as a fat guy playing basketball. Let's see. So Jalen Ramsey, by the way, has restructured his deal, kind of expected. So they dropped the 23 cap hit from $17 million to $4.1 million. They have Finns have $20 million in cap space before David Long's contract, which is not a big contract. So Miami still has a lot of flexibility, and we'll get $13.6 million in space June 1st with Byron Jones. So that's all good in the hood. So it's all working out for the Dolphins. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see what's going on with the Dolphins and Chris Greer, the way he is just working this whole thing, dude. It is absolutely impressive. Yesterday, I put down the phone for a couple minutes. I go to the backyard, and I'm hanging out with my dogs for a little while, and they're playing and all that kind of stuff. And, it's one of those relaxing moments. I just left the phone in there. And I get back, and I think it's Gus 1388 that's asking me, hey, what do you think about, David Long? He was retweeting something about somebody else commenting on it, Parrot or something, somebody commenting on it. And I agreed. I said, yeah, it would be nice, but I think he, would want a long-term deal. And then I realized that they actually had signed David Long. I'm like, what? Holy crap. I put the phone down for 20 minutes and they signed David Long. And my bad. I didn't realize that he had missed a few games the last couple of years. And I guess that's the one thing that they're, a little bit worried about. But if you look at Long's numbers, right? And to me, that is, one of the key things that if you look at it, I know he had missed a couple of games. Doesn't mean he's injury prone in this case because, he played in 14 games the first 2 years. And then in his third year, he played 10. And last year he played 12. Played 12 games, started 12 games. And so you look at his overall, his stats went up every year as even if he missed some games, his stats still went up every single year. And to me, that's what I'm sorry. Let me see. Yeah, right. I was right. And you look at it, and his total tackles, first year 7, second year 34, third year 41, and fourth year 53. So they went up every single year. What else did was I looking at overall? Interceptions, he's had 2 each of the last 2 seasons. Okay, he's actually very good in coverage. Told you that they were going to get linebackers that could cover. But I thought David was, he's 26. So I thought he would sign a 4 or 5 year deal. I didn't think that they would be wanting to do that. And they end up getting, a 2-year deal. That's what I thought they would do with, some of the other guys, Wagner or Levante David, right? So I thought maybe that's what you would do with those kind of guys, a 2-year deal. They're older veterans. A young guy like this, I thought would command a 4 or 5 year deal and maybe even a little more money. And maybe because of the injuries that he had the last 2 years, they got a bit of a discount. But he's a damn good player. He can He's good all around against the run, against the pass. He's got range. It's exactly what this guy needs, Fangio. So he fits it. By the way, Blaine Bishop, who's a 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowl, badass, knock your ass out safety for the Oilers Titans. And he's also works for the broadcast too. Blaine is going to join us to give us a breakdown of Long. So we'll get something on David from a former stud himself, and he'll break it down and give us some insight on David Long. So that's good stuff there that we'll get to talk to Blaine Bishop at the bottom of the hour here at 10:30. So we'll talk to him about it. But I like this kid. This is a good move. I didn't realize, I don't follow everything to a T. I didn't realize he had missed a few games, the last couple of years. And I guess that's what probably knocked his value out in the open market. But it looks like he's a player on the rise, picked later in the draft, then has kind of built up his resume. And to me, you haven't seen the best of this guy. That's kind of what I think is going to end up happening. We'll ask Blaine about it. We'll ask somebody that's an all-pro and knows his stuff. So looking forward to it. I think it's a really good pickup overall. And a young player, man, because if he does play well over the next couple of years, then this is a guy you can actually re-sign to a second contract, because he's going to be only 28 years old in the next time you have to give him a contract. So overall, I really like the move with David Long, and a really affordable contract too, on top of all of that. Let's see what we got here. Big O, I think the NFL should get rid of the salary cap. Yeah, that would not make any sense. That's kind of the reason why football is what it is. Baseball needs a salary cap, my brother. You know what, Michael? You sound like you should be running our government. Since you don't know what the hell you're talking about, you fit right there with the Republicans and the Democrats right there. You fit perfectly with our government. Let's print money and lower our interest rates to zero, and let's devalue our dollar, because that's what we should do. Yeah, you look like the kind of person that belongs with our government. Big O, good morning. When Tannehill went to Tennessee with a 6th-round pick that was used on David Long. Yes, I read Alan Poupart's nugget. I'm glad that you also read Alan Poupart, because he's the one that put it out there. With the Long signing, does this mean we're not getting Wagner? Probably. Big O, Chiefs are trading for Laramie Tunsil per Aaron Wilson. All right. I guess they're going to lose Orlando Brown, so they've got to replace him with somebody. Alf is in the house. David Long is the best linebacker this team has added in years. He's right. He can play 2-gap, play scrape backer, and is great in coverage. A home run signing. I agree. He's an all-around backer, and they needed that, Alf. In this defense, you can't have the Ingrams and the Landon Roberts of the world. It doesn't work in this defense, because it's a defense that forces you to be almost perfect downfield, because you're going to have to dink and dunk them all the time. And part of dinking and dunking is you're going to have to pass. So you're going to have to put backers out in the open field. You're going to have to put safeties. Both safeties have to be able to cover. So that's the reason why a lot of us have been talking about how Brandon Jones, while he got better in coverage, I don't know yet if Vic Fangio says he's good enough for him. And plus, he's coming back from an injury too, which doesn't help out. But Alf is right. He's a good player, and yeah, you think about it, he is free agent wise, he is the best linebacker they've signed in years. Yeah, I think they got a bargain. Actually, I think there's another one of those things that we're all going to say, wow, Chris Greer got this guy at a bargain. It's going to turn into like a Zach Sealer, that this guy's coming from somewhere. He's a player already. Sealer came out of nowhere and became a player. But my point is, it's been a bargain, a steal to have Sealer on the roster for these last few years at what you're paying him. I think you're going to say the same thing about Long when it's all said and done. I think it'll be the same way. I think we will be extremely pleased and think that we got ourselves a steal here with him. Chase says, I'm never on board with adding an expensive running back but forcing defenses to choose between Derrick Henry and a light box, or leaving Hill and Waddle with no safety help is a good way to score 40 points per game. It is, Chase. The question is, are we at the point now where Derrick Henry is going downhill? And that's what you have to think. He has taken a load of punishment and a workload that is enormous. At one point or another, it's going to start to fall off. And he's getting now, I believe he's 29, if I'm correct. And so that's why I think let me see. Derrick Henry. Where the hell does it? How come it doesn't say his damn birth date here? Yeah, he's 29. He just turned 29. Out of Yulee, Florida. Yulee, Florida. Where the hell is Yulee, Florida? Anyway, so January 4th, so he's 29. So now you're getting to the 30 years. A big back like that, we've talked about that. That's a gamble. That's a gamble. And on top of that, how much more do you have? It's the thing is, Chris Grier's MO is not to pay running backs and not to trade high picks or anything like that, or draft them high. He just doesn't do that. So I think they'll try to improve the line and bring back kind of the same backs. We'll see. Big O, should we be worried if Rodgers indeed goes? Not at all. I'm not worried about it at all. Zero. No concerns. Big O, how much space do the Finns have left? I think they were talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 without the long contract involved. So maybe 15. And they're going to get another 13 in June. So they still have space. Let's see what else. Do you think we add one more CB or linebacker? I think there could be another linebacker. And you know what? CB is possible too, or safety. I think that all that is there. Defense is going to be the focus of this offseason. I agree with you, Eric, but Vrabel didn't like his injury history. Yeah, he talked about it, but it's not a big history. It's the last 2 years. It wasn't like the first couple years. It was about injuries. It was the last 2 years that he had a couple of injuries. So I wouldn't necessarily go too crazy, about that. Big O, I think Miami is going to make another nice move considering how Grier restructured Ramsey's deal and now only $4 million cap hit. I mean, would you put it past him? Yulee is just north of Jacksonville, close to the Georgia border. Okay. All right. Big O, have you been to Sports Grill in Doral yet? Doing the draft there this year. We have not gotten a home yet for the draft. We're trying to nail down a home for the draft. I have been to the Sports Grill in Doral. I was there the other day, actually, picking up some food. So, yes, I have been there. Beautiful place, dude. It is freaking awesome. Any word in the building on how Channing Tindall will fit in Vic Fangio's defensive system? What word is there, Nico? There's no football being played. Let's find out. Wait till training camp, bro. You want an answer when how can there be an answer when there's no physical play actually taking place, my brother? What word can there be? You know what I'm saying? And you think coaches are going to actually tell you, oh, this guy doesn't fit. This guy's going to be fantastic. They don't know themselves. Nobody knows what Channing Tindall's going to be. He's a second-year player. He's going into his second year. You know, it's a crazy question, dude. There's no way you can assess any of that stuff. Vic Fangio has to be creaming himself with the addition of Ramsey and Long Jr. to go with the talent they already have. No excuses if the team stays healthy why they can't be a top 5 defense. Well, they should be a top 5 team if they're healthy. Not just that. Big O, Tunsil relatives have said Tunsil to Miami is a real possibility. Didn't Tunsil play some right tackle last year? Got to admit, Tunsil coming back home would be awesome. I don't think it's possible whatsoever. Is he going to take some kind of huge pay cut? You know what I mean? So, you know, who knows? And relatives don't know shit. All they do is talk crap. So I wouldn't believe a relative as far as I can throw them. Yes, I do like the re-signing of Duke Riley too. Good special teams linebacker. It's the kind of guy you want, like your last linebacker, those kind of things. Not a starter, okay? Not a starter, but you know, can fill in for a little bit and then excel on special teams, great leadership. Really good dude on top of all of that, character guy. So yeah. Big O took a break for a while from the show after my father passed. Bills versus Dolphins was the last game we saw together, not wanting to depress everyone. Loving the Dolphins moves. Fins up. My condolences, bro, to your loss. You know, I lost my dad when he was 51, which is 30 years ago. And it's the worst thing about losing somebody like that, your parents, you know, brother, sister, loved one, you know, wife, husband, whatever. You don't recover from that shit. You know, it's that's the worst part about it. And fishing laws, I pray for you, my brother, because I know how it is. And every day I think about my dad. Every day. It's been 30 years, and every day I think about my dad. You know, it sucks. So he passed away when I was just starting in this business. You know, and I hadn't even reached, you know, any kind of level of anything. It was just kind of producing and just interning and those kind of things, and never got to see any of the other stuff that I did and have done, or this or any of that. And he's such a big sports guy, it would have been the greatest thrill of his life to see that. And so you know, it's one of those things. You live with the regrets of not having more time. You know, he passed away. I'm 56. My dad passed away at 51, dude. Like, that's ridiculous. I've already outlived my dad by 5 years. And so I know how you feel. And I always tell people that I know, or I get to know, when they lose somebody, it's not something we ever recover from. We just learn to deal with it every day, you know. And the best things to do is always remember the good times. That's the best way to, you know, to remember everything. You know what I'm saying? So my condolences, my brother. Hang in there, because I know it won't be easy. Every football season, all kinds of things will remind you of your dad, because that's what happens with me a lot. A lot of things always remind me of my dad and things we used to do. So my condolences, my brother. Hang in there. Let's see. Would you re-sign Eric Rowe? No, I would go in another direction. Eric Rowe only excels with tight ends. He doesn't excel with wide receivers. He has some limitations. So I would go in another direction. That's just me. Let's see. I lost my mother at a young age. Your father would be very proud of you, Big O. He would be tripping out with this because he never probably thought I was going to go in this direction. So I bet anyone any dollar amount that Miami wins the Super Bowl if they get a solid right tackle. I don't care about running back or any other player they sign from here on out. O-line will be the difference now. You do need you're right about that, Eric. You're right about that. Jay Hurd says, Big O, thank you for speaking so candidly about your father. My dad is very ill and we were estranged for years. We were able to reconnect and become close. It's so important to value family. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know it's tough when you don't get along with parents too. That's tough on everybody. OL will determine now whether Miami is just a playoff team or a Super Bowl team. You're right. They do have to beef up the O-line. My dad's favorite MLB team, Los Yankees. Los Yankees. And a Dolphins guy. Hated the NBA. Hated the NBA. He wanted nothing to do with the NBA. Nothing. When we would go to Philadelphia, back in the day, and I would go to the Spectrum to go see the Sixers because that was my team in those days. We didn't have the Heat here. And I was a Sixers, a Phillies, and a Flyers fan because I went to Philly a lot. And he was like, what the hell? Why do you want to go see that? He hated basketball. He was football, baseball, boxing. That's it. Those were his sports. That's what he followed. Basketball and hockey, he didn't want anything to do with it. And my dad, if he wasn't gambling on it, he wasn't watching it either, except for the Dolphins. The Dolphins he watched religiously. We had season tickets, all that stuff. But he didn't watch a game unless he had money on it. He didn't find it interesting if he didn't have money on it. Yeah, my dad was a hell of a degenerate. There's no doubt about it. Love him, but he was a hell of a degenerate. Oh, my God. He bet on everything. He bet on a cockroach race. Let's see. What else do we have? I think Jimmy Butler would be open to being moved in the offseason if it's just going to be more of the same. Unfortunately, the trade would be the best way to fix this team. Yeah, I've been saying that for a while now. I wouldn't have signed him to the extension. This would have been his last year, and I would have parted ways. 4th year, done. That's what you signed him to. This would have been the last year of the deal, and I would have moved on and said, hey, thank you. We tried, and it didn't work, and you can start to clear out cap space and then wait for more whales and hope that you can land a whale. But I think it's better to reset this entire team because you're kind of you're stuck in the middle. You can't be good enough to be elite, and you're better than completely terrible. So you're kind of in the middle. You're just middling, average at best, mediocre, and you're stuck. You're not going anywhere. You don't have anything else that is going to become really special, unfortunately. So you're better off tearing it all down, get any picks that you can get rid of all these salaries and try to, free up cap space so you can make moves down the line. Big O people talking about Dalvin Cook possibly coming. I know the front office usually does not go for high-end running backs. And would you be excited if Dalvin Cook? Yeah, I love Dalvin Cook. He's a little injury prone for my liking. That's the only thing that I don't like about Dalvin Cook because he has suffered a lot of injuries, dude. And it's a contact position. But the only way I would do it is if you don't have to pay him a crazy amount of money because he is a risk. And we're talking about a collision position, So that's the only thing that I would worry about. I've learned this over the years. We walk this treacherous line when we talk about players that are local players. You all out there in general, you lose your objectivity because somebody is from here. It's like people talking up Mike White, like Mike White is, guy was in the league for a couple of years before the Jets got him, and he's played 2 years and he's thrown double the interceptions and touchdowns. So I'm not sure what people talk up Mike White. Well, because he's from Pembroke Pines. And then Teddy Bridgewater. And then, Teddy Bridgewater is, fantastic. And he's going to take Tua's job. And he's this and that. And it's like, have you really watched Teddy Bridgewater? Or is it just the Miami bullshit? And clearly they didn't really watch Teddy Bridgewater. It's just the Miami bullshit. And then now it's the same thing with Dalvin Cook. I get it. He's locally from here. Lamar Jackson, same shit. I get it, bro. But, when they're not complete, let's talk about it, please. Mike White is not that good. Skylar Thompson will have a shot to beat him out, actually. Dalvin Cook is injury prone as hell. Lamar Jackson can't live from the pocket. And Teddy Bridgewater has never been good enough. But there's this thing all the time that I get from people because he's from here. And all of you out there, man, you have so hard a time in being objective about people that are from the same area. Because there's like this, this thing that you got to push for them and want them to succeed. And I get it. All 4 guys are good dudes. You want them all to succeed, but they are what they are. So let's call Dalvin Cook what he is. Super injury prone. Let's just call it like it is. So that's the other thing why I wouldn't pay him a lot of money. Because he misses games. So that's, to me, that's one of the issues that you've got to look at. Happens all the freaking time. Let me see. Where are we at here? Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Here we are. 11 games in 18, 14 games in 19, 14 games in 20, 13 games in 21, and 17 in 22. So this past year was the first year he's played a complete season. So, we got to call it like we see it. All right. Hell of a back, but he gets injured a lot. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. Be very careful on giving him a lot of money. If you don't have to give him as much money, then, if he's willing to take a little bit of a break here, give a hometown break, I can understand. But if he wants top-notch money, NorCal says, I'm not a fan at all of the Mike White signing. Why? Well, NorCal I explained it yesterday. I told you they went to the dollar store. They need to spend money on the offense and the defense instead. They're not going to spend big money on the quarterbacks. And like Gardner Minshew I wanted, well, I told you guys this yesterday, that if you're going to sign Gardner Minshew or Andy Dalton, they're going to cost you a lot more. Like Mike White is signing $4.5 million of his contract is guaranteed. It's not a lot of money. Taylor Heineke signed a 2-year, $20 million deal. So that's a lot more money than 2 years for $8 million. You see what I'm saying? And it's not even $8 million. 4.5 of it is guaranteed. He's got to kind of earn the rest, and next year he's got to be on the roster in order to earn more. If not, they could part ways with him. They went dollar shopping. They went to the dollar store. They couldn't go to Kmart. At Kmart, they could have found Minshew. They could have found Taylor Heineke. They could have found Andy Dalton. You know, they weren't going to go to Saks Fifth Avenue and get Garoppolo or Carr or Aaron Rodgers or any of that. That wasn't going to happen. But they couldn't go to Kmart, because if you want to improve your offense and especially your defense to be a Super Bowl contender, I'll repeat it, NorCal, to you, and I'll repeat it to everybody else out there. Does it really matter, dude? Does it really matter? If Tua goes down, Gardner Minshew is not saving your season. Taylor Heineke is not saving your season, and Andy Dalton's not saving your season. Andy Dalton played with some pretty good Cincinnati Bengals teams, and he couldn't do anything with them because he is what he is. You know, those guys would be really good backups. They're not really good starters. They're really poor starters. But let's be honest. It doesn't matter who you sign as a backup quarterback. If Tua gets injured, the season is over. So let's not overreact that they didn't get Gardner Minshew or they didn't get Andy Dalton and they settled for Mike White, because that's what they did. They settled for Mike White. That's all. But, you know, so. Steven's asking what's taking Poyer so long. I don't know, bro. I don't know the guy. You know, maybe he ain't getting the deal he wants. We're back over 26,000. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, yo, we got Blaine ready to go.
We got him? All right, let's do it. Let's rock and roll. We promised you Blaine Bishop. Stud. Flat out stud that would knock your pecker in your sock. You know, Blaine, you know you did that shit. You know, knock the hell out of fools. 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, and he works for 104.5 The Zone, breaking it down and covering his Titans. How you doing, Blaine, man? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, what's going on, man? I appreciate that, big old man, the intro, man. That was fun times, man. I don't know if I would survive today. I'd probably be getting fined a lot more, so I'd have to change my whole game. The way they have to play. I had to play a lot smarter instead of just reckless abandon.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Yes. And today's game, by the way, how in the hell do they play defense, dude? Like, you've got to be like a pinpoint heat-seeking missile, because you've got to hit a certain portion of the body. If not, you're going to get penalized. You know, too low, too high, you'll get penalized. It's the craziest thing to have to play defense nowadays.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think really it's about the head placement, because at the same time, you know, you're going full speed. You can't really control what they're doing. You can't control really what you're doing except your head. And that would be a tough, you know, task for me. It would be something I have to consciously think about each and every practice and in games to make sure. And sometimes that can affect players. I know that first year it affected Michael Griffin a little bit, and he kind of missed some tackles just trying to make sure that he had his head placement correctly. So eventually, if that would have happened one time for me, I would have just said, I'm abandoning all that. I may have to just get a penalty or fined. One of the two. So it's tough. But, hey, you know, they're trying to make the game safer. And, you know, refereeing is a tough job. I mean, you know, everything is bang, bang. And we get to watch it on TV with the big screen and the slow-mo. And, like, they're sitting there seeing all of that. And they're not seeing that. You know, so it's easy for us to, you know, be the, you know, couch heroes on, oh, that's a bad call. It's a bad call. But it's a tough job. And I feel for those guys, because sometimes it's just like, man, what? I don't understand it. So more and more I sit in this chair, just like you, I start saying, man, being a referee is something that I do not want to even engage in, because every week is now I'm complaining about, man, that was a piss poor refereeing job by the crew. And I just don't understand some of their calls. So you just don't know if they're emphasizing certain things or certain crews, or is the NFL trying to emphasize certain things. So every year is a new year. You just got to keep your eyes open and their call and have a relationship with them, which is what I did. I made sure I knew who they were, their names, especially, you know, around that, you know, box area. So I don't want to make sure I didn't run into them, because I accidentally kind of bumped into them at times.
And by the way, this whole thing, we're never really going to make this game ever safe. I mean, it's just, it's impossible.
It's a violent game. It's a violent game. No question.
I was kind of laughing when Byron Jones is like, well, he comes out after, says, well, no, this is a dangerous game, the pills and and it's like, yo, dude, we kind of know that already. I mean, it's 2023. By now we know this game, when you sign up for this game, you got to know you're not going to come away normal from it. You're not going to walk the same. When you wake up in the morning, something's going to hurt. You're going to have to replace something. I mean, it's just kind of unfortunate. Like if you work in a coal mine, brother, your lungs aren't going to be the best after a while. And if you're a cop, you're putting your life on the line. And if you're a fireman, you're putting your life on. There are risks with so many different jobs. It kind of goes with the territory. It sucks, but that's kind of life.
Yeah,
right?
you have to mitigate those though. And I think all the information's out there now. So there's no, what you're getting into. There's no way around it. Now, how do you mitigate that is up to you though. Whether you want to go, I don't know, you said the Byron Jones guy, I guess he took pills or what have you. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe you do some, something else that, is a little safer for you, at least on that side of it, because that's what you can actually control. And the way that the money they're making now, it's just, they can pretty much have all the resources they need to help themselves recover in a healthier way as much as possible. And then you get second and third opinions. They have a lot more options today. So yeah, I'm 11 surgeries later, but I seem to be doing pretty good.
I was going to ask you, how are you doing, Blaine? Because you had a hell of a career. You were in a collision position where you were knocking fools out. So obviously you were delivering blows to yourself too at the same time. How is your post life?
Yeah, I would say I'm fairly healthy. I've gotten back down here over the last couple of years. It's been a process, but really back to my college weight. And so I've kind of thinned out, leaned out, and more into which is what I did when I played, but I wasn't trying to actually lose weight. But I did a lot of yoga, meditation, and things of that nature. So I kind of just rammed that up a little bit and got into hot yoga. And now I kind of thinned out and leaned out, and I feel pretty good for my situation actually. And only really major thing, I never had any major knee surgeries or Achilles. That was a def thing to me. It's like, oh man, if I tear my Achilles or I tear my ACL, I feel like, oh man. So that never really happened. Only thing happened for me, as you mentioned, I was doing a lot of banging. So right now I need a shoulder replacement, but it's functioning and doing pretty well. At this point in time, I could still raise it up and move it around and do different things. So I don't think I'm going to do it. And if I hold off, 10, 15 more years, then it's going to be a little too late to even do it. Just from the rehab part of it, and I had reconstruction twice with the shoulder in the off season. So I played through it. So that's my really only main issue. I had a couple scopes on my knee, couple scopes on my ankle, stuff like that. But, cosmetic in the pro world as far as professional athlete that comes with the territory. But other than that, I had nothing else. I had finger surgery, to save it. So 3 pins put in there when I was playing. So I played like 4 years with a cast on my arm at some point, straight 4 years straight. Just broke my forearm, and I laugh now. I played the next week and the guys missed 5 weeks. I just like, dang, was I just made a dumb decision, or was I built a little different? So
you were built, dude. The way you played, you were old school, brother. You were definitely old school. There's no doubt about that. By the way, are you happy that they're bringing back the Oilers uniforms? I believe for one game this year.
Absolutely, yes, and I'm glad that Miss Amy. I call her Miss Amy Adam Strunk, the owner now. She's been involved. It feels like it's a new organization over the last 6 years when she's taken over after her father passed away, the great Bud Adams. And so she's gotten that reconnected, and I think it was the perfect timing too for her. Just to say, a tribute to the original Houston Oilers. I don't think at the time when we first moved here, that was a good time because you wanted to embrace the new name, the new team. And now is the time. So with the gear and everything else, I really do like that, and thought that, it was way overdue a little bit of time. So it's good because, those guys with the Oilers, which I play for both teams, they really don't have anywhere to go. I mean, like, where do they go? They're not going to the Texans games. So it's cool. She brought everybody in last year, former Oilers, and did a tribute. We had Oiler Titans hats and everything else, gear, and brought everybody in, had different functions and parties each and every day for 3 days. So that was really, really cool. Put them up in hotels and everything. So it was great for me to see some of the old players when I was a young buck, like Warren Moon, I got to play with 1 year, and then Haywood Jeffries 1 year. So that I caught the tail end, the old school, really elite level team. We went 13-3, lost to the Chiefs and Joe Montana in the playoffs my rookie year. And then they dismantled the team, as the late Mr. Bud Adams said he would do if we didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
He
I
did tell us that in training camp. Yeah, I was like, whoa, am I going to get cut? I was a rookie. I had no idea.
No, I'm going to go on to have one hell of a career. Blaine Bishop joining us here on the program. All right, Blaine, so let me ask you, before I ask you about our guy, David Long, that we just got, Mike Vrabel, man, he is just an absolutely fantastic coach. But he does have an issue now, man. He's trying the same thing that a lot of teams are trying to resolve, is that quarterback position. Tannehill just wasn't the guy. We kind of knew that down here. We got the experience of it. You guys got it there. Then Malik, apparently he didn't convince enough, and then they had to go with Dobbs towards the end of the year. So talk to me, what the hell is going on with the quarterback position there? Because obviously that's a huge issue for Vrabel for him to solve.
Well, I'll start backwards here with Malik Willis. He has a long way to go. I've been saying that all season now. He's improved each and every time he's got on the field, but his maturation process of his development is going to take a little bit. Dobbs, who hadn't had, I think, a start in the NFL, and only was here, I think, a week or two, and then they put him in the starting lineup as a starter, actually looked pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. He had the calmness, he had the confidence, sharp guy, really sharp guy, smart. So I was actually impressed with him, and I think he solidified to me that he is at least a backup quarterback in certain schemes and systems. I wasn't even sure of that because he hadn't played, and I'm wondering why. But he had been in the league, bounced around for 6 years, so obviously he's got something. So he solidified that he's a guy that should be in the NFL in a backup role. No different than some of the guys you just mentioned, the Minshew and guys like that. He's kind of in that category. Didn't know he would be. Athletic, can run as well, but his precision passing was actually impressive considering what I saw and watched in college when he was at Tennessee. Now, Ryan Tannehill, who I know I get the bun of all the jokes every time I go on Miami radio or any platform in Miami. Ryan Tannehill, I don't hold any grudges what he did, and I didn't watch him with the Miami Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill has been a good quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. He's been exactly what they wanted the entire time. Now, last season, he was injured. If you go look at his stats, you go look at his passer rating, and you watch him, you go, man, now, is he an elite quarterback? No. But is he exactly what they wanted? Consistent, there every game, a leader.
Game manager.
Right, he's a game man. He was a distributor, no question. And he didn't turn the ball over until, he got injured and tried to force issues. And they didn't have good players around him this past season. No big-time receivers, no nothing, really. No offensive line. I would have been throwing that thing and ducking. So let's say before that, though, he looked really good. And I'm going to say really good. Got him to the AFC Championship game, which I think most people in Miami would have never thought. I remember I went on radio there and Crowder laughed at me.
Yeah, but we're kind of giving Derrick Henry the credit more than Ryan.
Well, here's the misconception, though. That is not true. That the philosophy is to run the football. Here, I'm going to give you a good example. Not this past season, 2 seasons ago, Derrick Henry missed 9 games. Everybody went to a panic. I said, no worries. No worries. The team will be fine. They end up 13-3. They were fine. 9 games. Foreman, because it was about their offensive line. It's not about Derrick Henry as much as he is fearful once he gets in the open field because he's kind of a unicorn. I mean, there's not too many big running backs like that can run that fast.
Never.
But it was the scheme and the system that was going to carry them throughout. And they had utility running backs all across the place. So I'm not taking anything from Henry, but I am trying to give more credit to Tannehill than people want to think. Like they say, oh, okay, so if you trade Derrick Henry, the team will just falter. No, they will continue to function as is if they have quality offensive linemen. They will. It's Vrabel's scheme and system, and as you mentioned, he's one of the elite head coaches in the NFL. He is. He's up there. I mean, he's already in the upper lords of Titans Oilers history, which is not a lot. I mean, it's not really hard, but he is. So
if he had a franchise quarterback, the Titans might be a Super Bowl winner already.
Well, here's where I'm going to go. I said Hurts was a franchise quarterback. People laughed at me before the season, right? So what actually is a franchise quarterback? What is actually a franchise quarterback?
A guy that can make plays in big time moments. And one of the things about Hurts that I give him a ton of credit this year, his accuracy. He
improved immensely.
His ball placement was freaking beautiful this year. I give him a lot of credit.
Is Tua a franchise quarterback?
Yes. He just can't stay healthy. That's his problem. But he's a passer.
Right.
That's the thing I like about Tua. I think Tua is a pure passer. The problem with Tua now Tua proved this past year that he can play the game now. Yeah. To any of the doubters out there. Now he has to prove he can play the game the smart way and keep himself healthy, because I've done this already several times and I'll do it with you. All his injuries, the hip injury, the 2 concussions this year, the 2 ankle injuries in Alabama, every one of them, 3.81 to 5.1 seconds. When he got injured now in that last Green Bay game, that was at the 4.81 second mark. What Tua has to learn is make your decision in 3 seconds and get the hell out. And don't be hanging around, because you're not Mahomes. You're not Russell Wilson. You don't have those wheels that you can pull away from people. So since you don't have those wheels that you can pull away from people, you need to do what Joe Montana and Marino and Manning and Brady and all those statues did. Make a decision quickly and get the hell out. Those guys never held the ball. They made a decision quickly and they got out of it. And to me, that's what Tua has to do. He's kind of got to redefine his game a little bit and use his head a little bit more so he doesn't get hurt.
Right. Well, you know better than me. You're watching them. That's why I asked. But reason why I asked about what is a actual franchise quarterback, how lucky would you be in an organization if you got a franchise quarterback? You'd be really lucky. But how often are you going to get a franchise quarterback? So when we talk about game managers, can they actually then take you to a championship if you got the right pieces around them? Right.
Yeah, if your team is dominant, if you have the 01 Ravens, the 03 Bucks, the 16 dude, Peyton Manning is the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
Right.
The worst.
Right. Okay. Well, in this day and age, I don't know if you're going to get a dominant
Denver, Blaine, he couldn't throw for 10 yards, but that.
Oh no, we follow Peyton Manning, so we definitely know he's a lord here in Tennessee. So yeah, I followed that whole entire season. But can you have a dominant defense in today's NFL? So to me, it goes back to, you don't have to have a dominant defense. You have to have a real good one, but you have to have pieces around the quarterback if he's a game manager. You have to have some stud receivers. You have to have a big time tight end, and you have to have a great offensive line and a running back, by the way, what we just talked about, Derrick Henry. So you can still win, and the odds are against you that you are going to get a franchise quarterback unless you tank a season. And you still may not get lucky to get one, because you can draft one first round.
Right here. We haven't had one
since Dan Marino. I played against Dan Marino my rookie year. Yeah.
So
one of the best throwers in NFL history. One of the best throwers.
That guy, but we haven't had one since Marino, dude. That's it. That's
so
how
to
long
me.
it's been.
Well, so to me, then, a guy like Tannehill and other players like him, if you put the right pieces around him, he can be that game manager. And then the only question that Tannehill did not do for me is make the big throw in the big moment. And that's what got him. Really, that's it. That's it now.
Yeah,
And that's just like Jimmy Garoppolo did in the Super Bowl versus the Rams when he was with the 49ers. He overthrew a guy wide open, and that cost him in that game. So, and Tannehill did something similar. Now, that still doesn't mean he's not a good quarterback.
To me,
still a good quarterback.
Tannehill and Garoppolo have this thing that if everything's on script, they're solid. Yeah. But then when things go off script and you've got to kind of ad lib and things are going haywire, that's where I think those kind of guys struggle. And that's where the special dudes are special. That when there's chaos, because that's how I measure a great quarterback is I want to see you under chaos. I want to see what happens when the shit hits the fan and you've got to make a quick decision and what happens there. To me, that's when the elite quarterbacks are the studs.
They still can carry their team on a bad day, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
And he's definitely not that guy. But guess what? We can count those guys on one hand, literally. So the odds are against you that you're going to get that guy. So how do you get the game manager in time to sway him to the confidence level of a franchise quarterback if you put the pieces around him? And so that's where the Titans are today. And they don't have an offensive line, and they got one receiver who kept getting hurt, Burks, now left, and the rest of them are just good players. I mean, solid NFL players.
Yeah. No, it's you got to solve that quarterback issue, man. I know how it is because we've been going through guys left and right, and we're hoping that Uno can figure things out. All right, so tell us a little bit about David Long Jr. I've been talking about that now. Fangio is here, and Fangio's got that kind of defense that it's kind of a bend, don't break. It forces you to be perfect all the way downfield. So their safeties and linebackers have to be pretty elite cover guys. David Long, talk to us. Does he fit the mold against the run and against the pass?
Well, I can say this, and I ballers know ballers, and that's why I kind of connect with him. I know I know people are going to see him and go, "What? This guy is probably 5'10". He was Big 12 Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, his senior year. Only reason why he didn't go high in the draft is because his height. You go watch him play. As soon as he got on the Titans, I kept begging, "Why isn't this guy playing? This guy is better than the guy we got out there." And eventually he got his opportunity, and he did really well. This guy, see ball, hit ball, but he's more than that. He can read and react to blocking schemes and what I call the triangle blocking scheme when you're in the middle linebacker, and can read it with quick twitch and get and beat you to the punch and with physicality. He is that guy. Now, and a leader, guy you look in the face in a huddle. He's all of that. And then he can blitz as well. I think he had a lot of sacks blitzing. Now, the only thing knock on him is he's had some muscle injuries. So he's missed 12 games, in the last 2 seasons. And I don't hold it against him because of his play when he plays. He's consistent, even in the passing game. They try to say, "Oh, he can't cover." Man, all of a sudden he starts making plays in the passing game all over the place. So I actually really like him now. I think at some point, especially for the price y'all getting him at, that's a steal. Now you're going to get your bang for buck, even if he misses some games because of some muscle injuries. Tissue. I'm gonna call him tissue, hamstring, calf. He was having that issue, but when he plays, he is the real deal. I like him. I like him a lot. He's a good quality player in the NFL, and he plays hard. I like guys, and he's consistent. The only thing wasn't consistent about him is his his body. Maybe it was because he's small, but tissue is not because you're small. He's a twitchy, fast guy like that, and so hopefully he gets over that. But that, it is what it is. I like him in all facets of his game. I really do. I don't know about Vic Fangio and how he runs his scheme, more or less. We played, I think, when he was with the Broncos a couple times. But I would assume that he can fit the scheme on the inside because he can fit any scheme, in my opinion. So they're getting a steal. I mean, really, for that price, even if missing games. Yeah, he's a good player. Good player.
His stats went up every year, no matter what, even with the games missed. And then I almost feel, Blaine, like this is a player that's ascending, actually. That is probably more like coming into his own. Am I right or am I wrong here?
Yeah, I definitely would lean that way. because he played more each year, as you mentioned, but his last 2 years where he was the dude, and there was no question about it. So yeah, I think you can, and if he stays healthy, man, yeah, you talking about stealing the. I mean, this guy should be getting at least 7 to 10 million per. And I mean, the way they're paying guys now, that's where he should have been, and they're getting him for 5 or whatever, the 5.5.
Yeah,
man, yeah.
2 years,
Yeah.
11 million.
I think y'all got something there. Yes.
And talk to me a little. So you tell me he has. Slow down, everybody out there. I'm not comparing him to this guy. I'm just saying some of the athleticism to it. He has some of those Derrick. Damn it! Now I'm brain farting. The guy from Tampa a few years back, from the Tampa 2 defense. Derrick
Brooks.
He has those. He has that kind of quality, that he has that range, that he can drop back quickly, and he can go sideline to sideline, that kind of stuff. Because Brooks was like the key to that defense, really, to make it run. You had to have that linebacker in the middle that can really do those things. Not that this is a different defense than that one, but it still requires the linebacker to have a lot of that flexibility. You see some of those traits in him?
Well, I've seen some of those traits the last 2 years when they play in cover 2 and him getting deep down the middle of the field. Now, I'm not one to be comparing players, and I get what you're doing, but to a Hall of Famer. Derrick Brooks could have played safety. He was as fast as I was. Now I get what you're saying, though. Can he do those things somewhat in this defense? Yes. I believe he can.
That's all I'm saying.
Derrick Brooks was a bad man. I mean, he was all over the place. But I get what you want, the range and everything else. At least in cover 2, the deep middle, he was definitely doing that. I don't know if they in our scheme, the Titan scheme, they didn't do a lot of man-to-man and like he was on tight ends and stuff like that. But as far as zone, he can do all those things. I think he's going to fit well. I think he can fit well in any scheme, but I think he'll fit well in Fangio's defense. Yeah, he'll be fine.
I got to tell you something, Blaine. I can't wait for practice. X and Jalen Ramsey up against Waddle and Tyreek. I mean, that alone, man, that is just going to be fun to cover, man.
Oh, yes. Well, Jalen Ramsey's from Nashville, so I've watched him since high school. And I told his dad he's going to go first round in high school. And because he was a track athlete too. So this guy could run. And long jumper, he was everything. He was a phenomenal athlete. So, for him getting back there, just the practices, to see, Howard, Ramsey versus Waddle. And those guys bring something different, because they're not only quick, which is different, they're also fast. So they have the combination, to me, that always would give DBs trouble. Because if a guy's fast, he's just straight line fast. Usually he's not really great at running routes. He's good route runner, but not a great route runner because he's trying to control the speed. And so they have that combination. So I'd love to be a fly down there in Miami and watch some of those practices and those battles, because Jalen Ramsey is a battler and he is a dog and he will come at you. He in practice and everything. He's just that kind of dude, and he wants to be the best. So there's some things, though, I watch him closely that he needs to sharpen up with his techniques and his eyeball. I'm interested to see how to use him. Hopefully they use him also in the slot and not just outside in passing situations, because there's times where he loses eye discipline and wants to look in the backfield a little too much when he's playing outside corner. But that can be easily fixed, easily. And I think it's because he wants to be aggressive at times and wants to cover the best player on the team, whoever they're throwing the ball to. So sometimes you kind of, get a little too aggressive and you kind of go outside of what you're supposed to do as far as your regard as coveraging and your coverage than doing your job. So a little bit of that, but I don't fault him at all. But I love him as a player. I wanted the Titans to draft him in the first round and trade up to get him when he came out of college from Florida State. And, naturally they weren't able to do that. So
I was talking about this. You tell me, because you're a hell of a lot smarter than I ever will be in this. But I was thinking, because Jalen's so big and talented at times, and we had a youngster here by the name of Kader Kohu, who came out of Division II, and I got to tell you,
I watched him. Is that 28? What was his?
Yeah,
I watched him because I didn't know where he's from, because he impressed me, and I was like, man, who is this? I've never heard of this guy. Looked him up and
This
saw he
is
was undrafted, and I was like, oh, and he was starting. I
Division
think it was
Two.
the Bengals game or
Division
some game.
Two.
It was on TV. Yeah.
Yeah. Division Two, and that sumbitch is tough. And he
Yeah.
is one of the best tackling corners I have seen here in the last few years. I'm very impressed with him. So I'm thinking at times they can put him to the outside if there's a if there's a tight end that's giving you some trouble. I might put Jalen Ramsey on his ass. What do you think about that?
Ooh, that's kind of interesting. When you're talking about these pass catching, receiving tight ends, yeah, I think that could be an option. Yeah, how big is the Okudo though? Is he like a 5'10"
Oh no, he's
guy?
not. He's like 5'10", 5'11", I think it is. But
Okay.
he plays super athletic. Go look at the Ravens game, and in the middle of the field, he makes this block on Mark Andrews up in the air.
Wow.
And you're like, whoa, I like this kid Kohu, man. So he'll be the slot guy. I think he'll battle with any of the other guys that they have for the slot. But I think at times I can move around. I'm thinking Ramsey's one of those guys that he's an X factor. You can move him. He's a what's it called, a Swiss Army knife. So I can have some fun with him and move around a little bit if I had to.
Yeah, they're gonna have they're trying to figure out where they want to use him. Each and every game should be part of their game plan. As far as Jalen Ramsey, he's just a phenomenal talent. I kind of gush over him because I've watched him develop and grow all this way into being where he is today. And I'm just excited that he's back in Florida, somewhat to his hometown. You could say since he went to Florida State and Jacksonville. So so I'm hoping he gets his game to number one level. As time goes on, I think in games he gets a little unfocused and bored. That's why I say they must have him in the game plan always.
Wait a minute. We lost Blaine there. We lost Blaine. We get him back. There we go. We got him back. All right, go ahead. Okay. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Yeah, so just to keep him engaged and so he doesn't get bored in games, he's just kind of that good guy. I mean, it's like Deion Sanders when he's not going to throw over there, right? He go half a game, they don't throw over there. And then all of a sudden they throw over there and he and goes and takes it. I think Jalen kind of gets, okay, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make a play some other kind of way. So he gets that under wraps. You got to get him in the game plan and make sure he's involved, whether it's blitzing, covering the tight end in the slot, the best receiver on the team. He's got to be that guy.
Right. With Holland and those two corners, man,
Holland.
the quarterbacks are gonna face some hell. All right, follow him on Twitter, by the way, @BBishop23. And, of course, you can catch his work at 104.5 The Zone, covering the Titans there. Blaine, thank you for taking some time, as always, dude. You've always been real kind, whether it's serious or here on the platform. Thank you for always joining us, my man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, big old man. Anytime, man. Anytime.
You got it, baby. You be good.
Thank you, man.
There you go. The great Blaine Bishop. All right, let's wrap it up. Hour number 1 is done. A home run hour. Hour number 2 on the Big O Radio Show is next. I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there on a beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden. There she is. There she is. The one and only She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner where Bono's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? Then cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. We got some Dolphin news. The Dolphins have re-signed Raheem Mostert to a 2-year, $5.6 million deal, $2.2 million guaranteed. So not paying a lot of money for the running backs. That's kind of the way they do things. I like Mostert anyways. He exceeded my expectations. I always liked Raheem Mostert as a running back and always looked at him as, a speed guy. But one of the things I loved about him last year that I didn't really see in his game, and I didn't really notice in my bad, he runs with a lot more force, a lot more power than I expected. So kudos to Raheem, and great move by Greer. Again, that's 2-year, $5.6 million, $2.2 million guaranteed. That's a drop in the bucket for a running back, and a productive running back in Raheem Mostert. So I love it. If they can get Jeff Wilson back, you'll get the team back. It's really what Blaine said. It's the offensive line. Make the offensive line, excellent, and then you will have a really good offense. Tua will have his time to pass. Tua will be able to hand off the ball to a running back that will have a hole constantly. All those things need to happen. Remember what I've been telling you. It's not so much about the passing game. Okay? It's not so much about Tua and Waddle and Hill. All right? It's about fixing the running game and getting the tight end that you need. Those are the elements you've got to add to this offense to actually bring the balance. And if you think Tua was impressive this past year, give him a playmaking tight end and give him a running game. And oh my God, Brock Purdy will put 210 yards up and get you a win, right? Well, Tua with the same kind of deal will put up 400 yards and your win. That's the difference. Just give him that. That's what's going to take this to the next level, is fixing that offensive line and making sure that it's a really good offensive line. And then your running game goes to the next level. And if you get that two-way tight end that I know clearly the head coach wants, and I get it, sky's the limit there. Okay. By the way, I know there was a super chat earlier. Knight, thank you for the super chat. It says, to be fair, we can say the same about Tua's health. Dalvin, I think, found his way to be healthy. Plus, we are a pass-first team that would assist that. Yeah, but Tua is not a contact player. Dalvin is, Knight. Dalvin is a running back. Anyway, they signed Mostert. They don't spend money on running backs. They don't spend big money or big picks. I keep trying to tell you guys this, but they don't do that. MM Canes 44, thank you for the love on the super chat. And remember, you can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And don't forget, folks, okay, you can send us a little Bitcoin through Cash App, all right, at Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. All right, let me see. Canes 44 says we still need to draft a running back. I like Chris Rodriguez out of Kentucky in the mid rounds. Second, third round, I don't think they're going to get a running back. I don't. I think it's tight end or offensive line, something along those lines. I think that's what you're going to see. Maybe a linebacker, maybe a safety, maybe a corner, those kind of positions. I don't think it's going to be running back. I'll keep repeating it over and over and over again. They just don't spend high picks on backs. It's just something that they don't do. So I get it, but it's not something they do. 2-year Greer back at it again. You know he loves his 2-year deals, bro. He loves the 2-year deals. He loves to try to stay flexible. Woke up to crypto bouncing back. Absolutely beautiful. You know it, Matthew. You know it. Bitcoin hit 26,000. So who do we have for right tackle who's available for what we can afford? Maybe they bring back Brandon Shell. I don't know yet. They have enough money to go get themselves a decent tackle. It ain't going to be Laramie Tunsil, but they have enough to go get themselves a decent tackle. Or maybe they want to draft one. Maybe they like somebody in the second or third rounds. Not exactly sure. Maybe they are going to bring back Brandon Shell, who did a good job at right tackle, actually. Brandon Shell wasn't bad. He was pretty good. So you've got David Long signing a 2-year, $11 million deal. They re-signed Duke Riley. They signed Mike White to a 2-year contract worth $8 million. Only $4.5 million of it is guaranteed. Okay, 3.42 signing bonus and a $1 million salary. $3.5 to $4 million of it is all due to playing time and team accomplishments and playoffs incentives and all that kind of stuff. So he's got to earn the rest overall. And then Raheem Mostert now signs a 2-year, $5.6 million deal. $2.2 million of it is guaranteed. So that's the moves right now for the Dolphins. They didn't want to go more expensive in the quarterback territory. Like Taylor Heineke signed a 2-year, $20 million deal. And I would imagine when Dalton and Minshew sign, it'll probably be 13, 14, 15 million a year as a backup or challenging for a starting job on a lesser team. That's probably what's happening with those guys, as we talked about yesterday on the extra show that we did. Once they did sign Mike White, I kind of explained all of those things. You can go and listen to that one. We thoroughly break that down for you on the Mike White situation. Raiders get Jimmy G, 3-year, $67.5 million deal, $34 million guaranteed. The Niners sign Sam Darnold. So it's Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, and Sam Darnold now. That's exciting. Did you see that the Ravens made a ridiculous offer to Lamar Jackson? Absolutely ridiculous offer. And because some of you have no idea where I'm going with this, and Lamar was stupid enough to turn it down. Some of you are going to say, what do you mean stupid enough? Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. That's not stupid enough. They should offer him more. No, they offered him more than enough. More than enough. So, according to Adam Schefter, they offered Lamar Jackson fully guaranteed at signing $133 million. Injury guaranteed to $175. Total guarantee $200 million. So Lamar was offered a deal that he turned down and included at the time $133 million at the signing. Okay. Then the contract had an injury guarantee that brought the total guarantee to $175. And then it had a springing guarantee that could have brought the value of the contract and the guaranteed money to $200 million. Those guarantees are more than what Kyler Murray has from Arizona and way more than Russell Wilson got from Denver. What more does he want? Oh, he wants a fully guaranteed, like the one that this moron got in Cleveland. Look, Baltimore is stupid off from that contract as it is. He hasn't even completed himself as a quarterback. He still can't win from the pocket, and he's constantly breaking down now. This contract, like I told you, I can't wait to see who signs him because it's going to be a disaster of a contract. So Baltimore offered him something more than generous because you don't have a guy that's going to age well. You can't keep running into your 30s as a quarterback. No. And since he can't learn to live from the pocket, don't get stupid now. Oh, I see him complete some passes from the... Yes, of course he does. He's an athlete. But I want to see him play games where he only ran once or twice or 3 times for 10 or 12 yards, 13 yards. Got a couple first downs, that's it. That he stayed in the pocket, won the game from the pocket, through the entire time from the pocket. Because if you got to play the running game, that ain't going to age well, dude. Baltimore offered a more than fair contract to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has no guidance in all of this, and he is incredibly blind by what he thinks his value is. The good thing is there's a lot of you out there that you've been fooled enough by it, including the Baltimore Ravens. Because unless your team is incredibly dominant, you're not winning with a running quarterback that can't pass consistently from the pocket. I saw that and I was like, are you kidding me? They offered this guy more than enough. What the hell does he want? I don't get it. What more is there? $200 million of it guaranteed. I mean, they even added injury guarantee. So if you get injured, you get a couple more dollars. How ridiculous is that? That's, to me, that's the part that I just, wow. Whew. Man. Makes 0 sense to me. Okay? 0 cents. Okay? Anyway, remember, you guys can reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. That, my friends, is a 24-hour talk show there on Twitter. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Yes. Let me see. Heat got it done last night against the Jazz. Panthers are off till Thursday. Kudos to John Morant, by the way. He has checked himself into a counseling program. Mad props to him on that. Okay. Unfortunately, the kid was headed down a really bad road. And you've got the world by the, you know what, endorsements, all of that. And I saw where Powerade now put on pause his ads because of the whole situation. But again, to his credit, he saw that the wheels were coming off. I hope somebody got him, got his attention, and all this crap hopefully woke him up, because this kid's way too talented to piss it all away with stupidity. You're shirtless in a club. There's $50,000 all over the floor. The pictures come out from the strip club where he's getting a lap dance. He's got the room to himself. I'm not sure why the strip club is releasing that picture, by the way. If I'm Ja, I would never go back to that strip club. Not that he should really, the thing is, it's funny how people say, well, he should try to live his life. Yeah, the problem is, dude, that they're trying to tell you, sure, you got to live your life, but bro, you got to live it smart, because this is not the kind of world that you can just go out there and live it on the streets, because there's idiots out there that are going to, push you, and then they're going to get you in trouble. And it sucks, to have the people that want to be famous. It's, okay, great. You got there. Now you got to live with that fame. And part of living with that fame is that people are going to come at you, good and a lot of bad. And you don't know who's who. And that's the problem when you're in that, as I've always said, right? I say it all the time on the show. People that have something to lose need to be around people who have as much to lose or more. That way there's a trust there, because you're both looking out for each other. But the person that has nothing to lose and is around somebody that has everything to lose, then that puts somebody at an incredible disadvantage. And if you're a famous person and you put yourself in a club with all that cash and all that, you are putting yourself at risk. And then you're also now flashing a gun, and that shit doesn't end well, dude. Pac-Man Jones had the same issue in a strip club once, and a person ended up paralyzed. I don't think that's something that any of us want to live with, And unfortunately, when you're that famous, you have to live differently, whether you like it or not. And I give John Morant a lot of credit that he's getting counseling. So obviously going to be out for a little while, but it's the right thing to do. Good for him, because he needs to, get his life on track, and be the person that matches your talent. That way you're a beast on the court, and then off the court. I'm amazed with LeBron. Like LeBron, as famous and everything, we can nitpick and talk about all the other stupid shit that he does and the passive aggressive crap and all that stuff. But when we talk about running your life off the court, well, the guy finds a way to, never get in any kind of trouble out on the street or any of that. And there's lots of guys like that. Antetokounmpo does it. There's lots of guys that can do it. And Ja's got to kind of figure it out like those guys and carry yourself. Unfortunately, they all have the same burden he does, fame. It's fun, but it's also a burden. And unfortunately, once you achieve that kind of fame, you have to live your life differently. You cannot live it like the average person. So, let's see. They sold the video to TMZ after he dropped the $50K. Yeah, it's that's terrible business. I think it was like the second time he was there to that place. So it's second time he frequents it. So next time he's in town, maybe you protect him. How much money did they really offer you? Well, anyway, what can I tell you? Dime con quién andas y te digo quién eres. Surround yourself with the people who elevate you, not take you down. Leave it all behind, bud. Yep. That's a saying our folks had. Fun watching the Jets play desperation. It's a sad deal, but I like it. Rodgers is screwing two teams at the same time. Well, by the way, is there any news or anything? Did he finally commit to the Jets? Because they're getting Alan Lazard, so I obviously doing this at the same time, I am not going to be on top of everything, but I'm not sure if anything else broke here. Packers Jets may be caught in a game of chicken over Aaron Rodgers. All right. That's something I'm reading here. Let's see. Aaron Rodgers has decided on Monday, word emerged that quarterback Aaron Rodgers decided to play for the Jets. Evidence to support that conclusion came from information that he was working to recruit one more Packer free agent to the Jets. Right now, nearly 24 hours later, nothing has happened. There's currently chatter in the league circles that the two teams may be caught in a game of chicken. Some believe the Jets are lowballing the Packers. The Packers, in turn, recognize that the Jets need Rodgers badly, with Derek Carr and Garoppolo going elsewhere, so the Jets don't have a viable plan B unless they plan to make a run at Lamar Jackson or try to trade for someone like Matthew Stafford. From New York's perspective, what are the Packers going to do? Keep Rodgers? Last week, CEO Mark Murphy said that Rodgers would be the starter in 2023 only if things don't work out the way we want them. From Green Bay's perspective, they seem to believe Rodgers is choosing between playing for the Jets or retiring. And the cap hit for the Packers would actually be much lower in 23 if his retirement is processed after June 1st. It's costing them more than $24 million in the 23 cap to trade him before June 1st. Through it all, Rodgers holds the nuclear option. He can tell the Packers to get ready for one more year with Rodgers on the roster at a price tag of $60 million. But here's the thing. Would Rodgers really want to get down and dirty like that, to be where they don't want him there? He'd be Costanza working for play now if he truly is ready to drop the giant ball of oil on the Green Bay Packers front office. But even if he takes their $60 million for 2023, it's not as if the money is coming out of an oligarch's pockets. The Packers are publicly held corporation. If anything, Packers fan shareholder would have even more reason to turn on the delicate darkness genius for wasting $60 million of their dollars. He's got to go to New York. I want him to go to New York. Okay? Badly. I want him to go to New York. By the way, redrecover.com, they've got all the wraps for you. And right now you can get 10% off. Use our code Big O. Go to redrecover.com. And whether you're dealing with an old injury, surgery, you name it, the wraps can help you, man. They can help you optimize your workouts. So before you go walking, running, paddleball, tennis, bowling, whatever the hell it is that you do for working out, sex, maybe that's your workout every day, right? You and your favorite person go at it for a while there, build up a sweat. There you go. Redrecover.com can help you out, baby. Optimize those workouts. We even have the wraps for the ladies, for your face, for the crow's feet, and here too. So the wrinkles, because red light therapy can help out there too. Go to redrecover.com. Use our code Big O. You will get 10% off. We have the wraps for the dogs too. Now, the dogs, you can get 30% off. Okay. And that's for their hips. A lot of dogs have issues with their hips as they get older. Well, Red Recover and red light therapy can help them ease that pain so they can ease the discomfort and live a much more comfortable life. If you love your dog, Red Recover is the way to go. Go to redrecover.com. Use our code Big O. Get 10% off. All right. Let's talk a little Canes. Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing, my friend? You doing all right?
I'm doing great. Oh, how are you?
Cannot complain. Just following Dolphin free agency. Is there any free agency we should know about with the Canes?
Well, where did Braxton Berrios end up? Has he landed a home yet? Wasn't he supposed to be in free agency this year?
He is in free agency.
I think Denzel Perryman was another one, right?
Yeah, I don't know where Perriman's landed yet, or Berrios has not landed anywhere yet.
Yeah, there's not a lot of names, as back in the day, right, where we had like 40 Hurricanes playing in the NFL. The list has dwindled down quite a bit.
Calais Campbell is also a free agent.
There you go. Calais is this year. That's right. Calais is also, 39 years old almost? He's got to be hitting 40.
About 47. Yeah. 52. I don't know, 68.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the days of having a long conversation about the Hurricanes in the NFL ended a while ago. Really, I mean, besides Jalen Phillips, Gregory Rousseau, and KJ Osborne, there's not a lot of guys that are, I think, making big notable, sort of contributions to their teams. I mean, I think those are the three best at the moment. I know Calais still starts, but I think the three best current Canes in the NFL are probably those guys. And then you have a couple kickers and punters, guys that have come through the program. But yeah, it's slim pickings, but that's what happens when you don't recruit at an elite level, man, and you don't develop guys.
Yep, I'm with you there. So, all right, do we have any news on the recruiting side? Because I know recently, like a week and a half ago, they lost their 20th player that went into the portal.
The transfer portal, yeah.
Yeah, so 20 have been out, and you kind of were talking about it, throughout towards the end of the year, like 15, 20 guys would be out. Well, yeah, 20 guys.
Yeah, they hit the magic number. They're just cleaning house. I think it could go up even more after spring football is over, because we do have that extra transfer portal window after spring football. So I would expect that there will be movement, and I expect that Miami's going to try to jump on some receivers, some defensive backs, some defensive tackles, if any of them become available that are any good. I mean, look, they could have added some of those guys already, but clearly they don't like what's out there. So they're hoping that something new pops into the portal and that they can take a look at that. But I think there will be guys who go through spring football and say, you know what, I better go somewhere else to play because I don't think I'm going to get much of an opportunity here. So I think that'll happen, but we're still a few weeks away. We got to get through the spring game on April 14th, and then when the window opens up, I believe it's May 1st is when the next transfer portal window opens. That's when we'll start to see some movement. It's a very dry time right now. Oh, I wish there was more I could I could give.
I know. That's the one thing I feared about this segment. There really isn't a lot of football news. It's really all about, is Omier going to be healthy? Will he be ready for Friday or Friday? Friday, I think it
Friday
is. Right?
night against Drake. Yeah,
Friday. So will he be right? Because by the way, they missed him against Duke. Those two long dudes.
Yeah,
that was the mismatch right there, dude.
Yeah,
that was they had no answer for their length, man. Unfortunately, Omier was needed badly.
Anthony Walker Jr. can only take you so far. He's a backup who really doesn't play much in that rotation, and so yeah, I mean, could they get past Drake in round one if Norchad Omier is not really 100%, which I don't expect him to be? I think they could. I think you're going to need Isaiah Wong and Jordan Miller and some of those other guys to kind of play at their best. But I think Miami could advance at least to the round of 32 without their big man. I think anything beyond that, you gotta hope that it's not that bad. From what I've heard, he's walking around without a boot on it. It's basically a sprained ankle, just healing, and that's a good sign. If he was in crutches or in a boot, I think it'd be much worse. So I think right now, things are optimistic that he'll be available this weekend. I don't know if he'll play a whole lot for game one, but maybe game two he's back for that.
Let's show him Pat Mahomes' film of a high ankle sprain. Let's go, bitch. Let's go.
I don't think Pat Mahomes had to jump up for rebounds when he was playing quarterback, but hey.
You're still running around, bro.
Yeah, sure. Not nearly as much as Omier will be.
I saw him hop or jump a little when he would injure it.
Right. That was the pain. It's the shooting pain right up his leg. He had to. Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things that sucks for Miami because you have such a great season, right? And the way college basketball is nowadays, as we know, a lot of
parity,
guys,
bro. Parity.
There's a lot of parity, and I would say there's a lot of guys that go pro, right, and play overseas. So you don't have the depth of talent maybe that you used to in the sport because so many guys are sort of sidestepping college basketball. And Miami's really just not a very deep team, man. We knew one injury. That was my fear for this team. One injury, and the whole thing could short circuit quickly.
And that's a big injury because he's a dude. They don't have another one like Omier. He just it's different for them. Yeah, it's a huge loss for them overall. Oh, by the way, what's the update on the facilities? Everything going on, the improvements and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you're talking about the football facility, I mean, everything is, from what I've heard, is still on the right path. I mean, they're raising the money to get it done. Again, I know some people have written $150 million. I think some people think it's closer to $300 million, double that, because of all the construction costs of moving things around on the building. And yes, you always end up going over budget when you do something like this. And let's not forget, Coral Gables, that camp is such a packed, tight little area to begin with. It's already filled. You're not dealing with a bunch of empty land. I know you have the the fields where the students play intramural sports and whatnot, but there's not a whole lot of area outside of that to work with. And this facility is going to look beautiful. I mean, the renderings are out there. They've been online, what it's going to look like, but we're still 4 or 5 years away from that being completed. So I think it'll get there eventually. I think everything is on path. I haven't seen any steps back with it, but I think, as far as raising the money, they're in the process of doing that, in the process of preparing everything that they're going to do to get it done.
All right, so the coaching staff is done. It's finished, right? There's nothing else, right? They're not losing anybody. They're not adding anybody, from what I understand.
Well, not for spring football. Not for spring football. I think we're fine for spring football. I think there's not going to be any changes in the middle of spring football, but there could be moves this summer. Yes, I think absolutely so. I think there could be moves. I think Joe
Really?
Salavea. Yes, I think Joe Salavea, who's the defensive line coach, really, I think he's had his you know I don't want to say rights, but his his authority sort of stripped away from him. Jason Taylor's kind of the guy now who is running that ship. So, I know he tried to go to the NFL. He interviewed with the Detroit Lions. If there's a chance that he could join another staff at the pro level, I think he probably does that, which means that there's somebody else to either promote on staff or to bring in from the outside. So I think that's a possibility of a move. I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen. I'm just saying it's a good possibility. We see some history with that. And I think the tight end coach position, Stephen Field's been there a long time. He's a really good recruiter. Stephen Field's been the one guy to sort of survive all these coaching changes. I think he came in with Mark Richt, if I'm not mistaken. So he's been around a hot minute. But they have some other coaches on staff. Coach Woodiall, who's like a grad assistant, who I've heard for a while could potentially get put into an assistant type role, where Stephen Field maybe goes back into the recruiting department. I think those are things that I've heard for several months now as potential possibilities. And then again, if somebody gets an opportunity to move up, the chessboard is always moving, right? Guys take NFL jobs, that opens a job somewhere in college, and it's just a ping pong of moves, domino effect. Those things could still happen. So I would say while I don't expect any changes this spring during spring football, I would say the summertime anything's possible.
Ja'Carri is the backup.
It's an interesting debate because if you look at Shannon Dawson's offense, rather, at Houston and Clayton Tune and the way he plays the game, that offense is built to be run by a guy like a Derrick King. Okay, a guy who can move with his feet, make plays, run for 500-600 yards. And if you look at Miami's quarterback room, the only guy really capable of that is Ja'Carri Brown. I know Tyler Van Dyke likes to pretend that he's super athletic and can make plays on the run and blah, blah, blah.
He can run a little bit. He's not a complete statue, but he's not really a runner.
He's not going to take off and go for 70 yards, right? I think Ja'Carri Brown can obviously do that. We saw proof of that in the Georgia Tech game when he got the start there and he made a bunch of plays with his legs that everybody was just sort of, wow, this kid's good. The problem with Ja'Carri, of course, is his completion percentage and his throwing ability.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah,
because I asked the question because what you're running with your starting quarterback, your backup quarterback is completely different than your starting quarterback. So, are you going to change your offense and tweak it when Ja'Carri starts, or is there a third quarterback that could challenge Ja'Carri because his skill set is more like the starter and he could do what the starter does?
Yes.
Or is it that the two backups are like Ja'Carri, that they're both athletic runners, so it doesn't really matter? So they're going to, whoever they go to, it's going to change no matter. So talk to us about who's third and how is that battle working out? And does that third guy have a shot at jumping Ja'Carri because he plays more like the starter?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think Emory Williams, the true freshman who came in and has been in camp and impressed. And a lot of people who've been out there and had a chance to watch Miami go through a practice and watch him throw think he's the better thrower than Ja'Carri right now. And so I think from a strategic standpoint, if you're going to keep the offense the way it runs under Tyler Van Dyke, you probably go with Emory Williams as the backup. Now, that's not to say that Shannon Dawson couldn't adjust and say, you know what, Ja'Carri Brown gives us the best chance to win. This is still a true freshman who was just in high school a year ago. He might not be ready to run what we want him to run. So I think until we get there, until we get to the season and really get to watch these guys, maybe get some garbage time and see how close Emory Williams really is to, being able to run a college offense, we really won't have an answer. I would suspect that right now, if you were to ask Mario Cristobal who his backup quarterback is, he'd say Ja'Carri Brown. He's been here. He's been in college for a year. His body is filled out. Emory Williams is still filling into his body. He's still got to put on a little bit more weight. I think Ja'Carri is physically ready to play this position. And I think you could certainly have a package or a system for him to run in this offense that would be highly effective. It may not run the same way it would with Tyler Van Dyke, but I think he would bring elements in this, air raid spread offense that would be good for Miami in a lot of ways. Honestly, I mean, if you gave me the choice, and I love Tyler Van Dyke, if Ja'Carri Brown could throw the football a little bit better, I would go with him as a quarterback in today's game, because the ability to run just it makes your offense so much more dynamic. You look at every single one of those. I mean, look, I know Bryce Young and some of the top quarterbacks, the kid from Ohio State, they didn't run the football a whole lot, but when they needed to, they could escape the pocket. They could make plays with their legs. And I think Ja'Carri gives you an even bigger element of that, where he could go 70, 80 yards and score. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys on the team. He's literally, I think, the second fastest guy on the team based on their biometrics, that when they do the running. I think he ran over 22 miles an hour. So I think he's the kind of talent that you don't just sit there and dismiss and say, well, this guy throws the football better than him. You can't use Ja'Carri Brown. I think there's a lot of things you could do with Ja'Carri Brown that would win you a lot of football games in college football today.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Subscribe to The Athletic and support him there. Manny, as always, my man, appreciate you. We'll catch up on Friday here on our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thank you, sir. There you go, Manny Navarro. Don't forget, you order over $99 at Caneswear.com, you will get free shipping. And they've got all kinds of great stuff and practically anything and everything with a Canes logo on it. Go to Caneswear.com or visit the store at 2511 South University Drive in Davie.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InnerMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Right. We thank Manny Navarro. Not a lot of stuff going on in Canes football world. Obviously, basketball is what's going on. I haven't really watched a lot of the tournament it's really watching, the Canes. That's it. And I'm sure now when the other tournament starts, the real tournament, I'm sure I'll just watch the Canes. I won't be watching really that much, unfortunately. Buccaneers are going to trade Shaq Mason to the Texans. Interesting. So Tampa Bay is sending Mason to Houston in a deal that will also see them swapping late-round picks. The Bucs will get the Texans' 6th-round selection, while Houston will receive a Tampa 7th-round pick. It's the second year in a row that Mason, who turns 30 in August, has been traded. New England sent him to Tampa Bay last offseason for a 5th-round pick. He started all 17 games for the Bucs, playing 99% of the club's offensive snaps. So, Shaq Mason traded to the Texans. Jets are working to sign Allen Lazard. We shall see. You would figure that signing Allen Lazard leads to Aaron Rodgers. But as I've told you guys out there, I am not worried whatsoever about Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. Not at all. I'm not worried whatsoever. I think it's I don't think it's a big deal, to be quite honest with you. By the way, I was watching some video yesterday on YouTube. I feel for, our friends in California. Jesus Christ, dude. I was seeing the snow, and there are houses that are buried in snow, like buried, absolutely buried. I saw one scene where somebody had to walk over like a small mountain of snow to get to their house, and then the pathway, they had it out, but it was just loaded with snow. And then you go into the house, right, and then you go up to the second floor in the backyard, and the snow is up to the porch in the backyard in the second floor. Like the whole first floor of the whole backyard is full of snow. and so much snow that it reaches the second floor. That's 10 feet. It's crazy, dude. My God. I feel for all of you out there in California going through one hell of a wacky ass time right now. Man, floods. What is it called now? An atmospheric river or whatever. We got all these new things. A shit ton of water used to be called a monsoon. Now it's called an atmospheric river. That's how it goes. So I was thinking about this, and I tweeted this out the other day. California is one screwed up place, if you think about it, okay? Because, here we deal with hurricanes, we got a lot of heat, we got humidity, what else? I mean, we deal with some kind of things, not nearly as much as some of these other places. But California, I don't think there's a state in this country that has to deal with more than California. They've got earthquakes, they've got snowstorms, they've got droughts, they've got hurricanes, technically. Kind of the southern tip of California, they've gotten hit by, it gets hit by Mexico, but then they get the swells from it, the tropical storms from it, the flooding, the rain, and all that. So they get effects from hurricanes, even from Mexico in Southern California. Mudslides, wildfires, flash floods, atmospheric rivers, windstorms, tsunamis, smog, traffic, high taxes, terrible leadership. I left out the crime for the hell of it, but crime too. Hey, brother, living in California, it is tough, dude. You're affected by all kinds of natural crap it really doesn't happen in every state. Only that state has to deal with all of that. So hang in there, California. No more field goal says, remember that one year the Eagles went out and created the all-star defense that did nothing? Hate to say it, but as a Fin fan, I can't help but pray that's not us. I'm hopeful but scared. No, dude, you're just a negative person that just wants to think about all that bullshit and whatever. No big deal. That's all it is. You live in the past and everything is negative and everything's going to be bad and all that. It's just a syndrome that a lot of Dolphin fans have. That's all. It's because the state spans the length of almost the entire country. It's not like all these things happen at the same places. No, but Carlos, the fact that in one place they get all of that, that's crazy, dude. Okay? That's just, that's out of control. We don't deal with the wildfires that they do. We don't deal with the droughts that they do. We don't deal with snowstorms. We don't deal with earthquakes. It's just, wow. They deal with all kinds of stuff. It's really amazing if you think about it. It kind of convinces me to never live in California. Visit and get the hell out. And that's it. And hopefully I visit in a moment when some of this crazy shit ain't happening. Western South Dakota has all the hills and mountains. Yeah. There's 10 people that live there also. I would never want to live in the southern part of the U.S. I'm allergic to heat stroke. We are Super Bowl bound, says Lenny Pena. Rob says, how can any Dolphin fan not feel optimistic about this team as constructed now and how we're setting it up for a run? Yeah, because they want to live in a negative world, bro. I'm a beaten down fan Been watching this mediocrity for 30 years. Don't trust this franchise anymore. Well, that's fine. Live in the past. It rains in their domes. What does that mean? Like there's some dome stadiums that get rained on in California. Is that what you're saying? Well, I was reading this story a little off the beaten path. Okay, just a little bit off the beaten path, but it caught my eye because it's not something that's normal. It's well, maybe it happens more often. We just don't know about it. But what's not normal is people talking about it. And I don't know if any of you watched the OC or what's that show she's been on before? Or she was on, I'm sorry, not been, but was on. But her name is Rachel Bilson. Okay. So she's been on all kinds of shows. I'm not sure if you watched the OC. So she was talking about her sex life. Okay. And this is pretty amazing. She says she didn't have an orgasm till she was 38 years old. I'm not going to get into the specifics of some of her theories, but just caught my eye. You could go read the story yourself because she does get a little graphic. And she's had several boyfriends, husbands. She's got a kid and everything. And she says she didn't orgasm having sex till 38 years old. That's an unfun existence. Just want to throw it out there. Feel bad for her, bro. You had to wait it's like Lolo Jones is still a virgin and she's holding herself out for somebody and she's like nearly 40 years old now at this point. It's like, what are you waiting for? The machine's going to be broken before you can even use it. 38. Man. Let's see. Big O, I have been to the fair since the ride broke where everyone flew out. LOL, just saw the ads. Okay. I'll be at the fair. Let's see. John Rouse in the house. Has any how anyone stays in California if they are stuck there because of a job, family, etc., is beyond my understanding. Get the hell out. Yeah. I mean, I could not live in California, and seeing all the shit that goes on in California. Are you kidding me? Plus that Newsom clown is running that place. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. Big O, you ever heard of the song "It Never Rains in Southern California"? No. Who sings it? It never rains. No, it doesn't ring a bell. It never rains in Southern California. No. She was in Jumper with Hayden Christensen. I think she was also married to Hayden Christensen. I think that's one of the guys. I think she has a baby. The one kid that she has is with Christensen. Because she also went out for a while with Adam Brody from the OC and somebody else now recently. Let me see. Here it is. Yeah, I can read it in the article because I don't want to get into too much of the Heart of Dixie was the other show that she was in. Bill Hader. She was with Bill Hader, Zach LaRock now. So, yeah. Yep. Has an 8-year-old daughter named Briar. That's it. Well, yeah. 38, man. Let's see. Big O, hit me with your top 5 favorite movies that's on that you have to sit and watch. Oh, God. I don't know, bro. That's all. That's a lot to think of right now. Star Wars is definitely one of them. It's always in my top 5. Big O, I can't freaking wait to see Tua ball out, and if he stays healthy, the Jay Fiedler days are over. We all should have real hope for our Finns. Yeah, it could be Hayden. It could be Hayden's fault. Well, no wonder she's never visited the land of O. You know, every lady should visit the land of O. It Never Rains in Southern California is 1972 by Albert Hammond. Okay. I'll try to look it up after the show. She's been around, Big O. Maybe her tool is worn out. Nah. It happens to women, bro. Sometimes. Yeah. They don't run into the right guy that rocks it out for them, and some guys don't know how to rock out that special spot, so it happens. It Never Rains in Southern California is a one-hit wonder by Albert Hammond. So it's a one-hit wonder. Maybe I've heard it. Okay. It just doesn't ring a bell right now. I would have to listen, and I'm not going to play it now because I know what YouTube's going to do. They're going to tag us like they always do, because that's what YouTube does. They tag you, and they set you back because they like doing that. Like Sloman's likes protecting you at 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. And for our friends out there, if you're looking for a free doorbell camera, I've got one for you. The first 40 Big O listeners right now, we're doing it again. First 40 right now. 1-800-ALARM-ME. We get those going. We give them away quickly. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Listen, you can call, find out what you're paying right now, what you pay with Sloman's. You'll save yourself a lot of money. We'll give you the free doorbell camera, and when you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring, we're going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them you heard it on the Big O Show. You will get the free doorbell camera. And how about this? For our friends in California who are still dealing with the winter storms, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Maryland, Virginia, Georgia, you're dealing with the cold weather. You know what you pay for heating oil, right? Would you like to save a little money? Wouldn't it be nice to save some money? Well, Sloman, they've been protecting Americans for over 100 years. They also provide heating oil in those states I talked about. So call them 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Just call and ask. You know what you pay. Compare the prices. That's it. They'll give you a fixed price, save you hundreds in the long run. Call them. Tell them that you heard it on the Big O Show. Tell them that you're a loyal listener. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. So compare what you're paying now in California, in Connecticut, in New Jersey, in New York, in Maryland, in Virginia, in Georgia, and you might save yourself a lot of money in the long run. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Hour number 3 is next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, we are back for hour number 3 of the program. Appreciate you all out there. Sean Stanley, of course, mastering the show. And let's see, Bitcoin hovering right under 26,000, 25,969. Freaking amazing. Really is amazing. And the markets are actually doing very well right now. The Dow is up 383 points. The S&P is up 70. And the NASDAQ is just up by a point. So there you go. For those of you that keep up with the markets. Got that going on. Love it. Bitcoin busting through 25, going through 26,000, man. It is nice. Very, very nice. What else? We don't have a lot of stuff going on really in sports, to be quite honest with you, outside of football and the signings that we talked about with the Miami Dolphins. Everything else is kind of status quo. We're waiting for Rodgers. Will he sign with the Jets? Will he retire? Will he make hell for the Packers? The Lions re-sign offensive tackle Matt Nelson. Cowboys re-sign strong safety Donovan Wilson. Raiders agreed to terms with wide receiver Jacoby Myers. Bucks trade veteran Shaq Mason to the Texans. The Jets are finalizing a deal with Alan Lazard. Jacoby Brissett is drawing interest from the Bucks and the Falcons. The Falcons, by the way, agreed to a 2-year, $20 million deal with Taylor Heineke. Vikings are signing former Saints defensive end Marcus Davenport. The Cowboys have restructured Michael Gallup's contract to create $7 million in cap space. Matt Gay is leaving the Rams for a 4-year deal with the Colts. Dalvin Tomlinson has agreed to a 4-year deal with the Browns worth $57 million. $27.5 million is guaranteed. The Seahawks signed Broncos defensive tackle Draymond Jones to a 3-year, $51 million deal. Jameis Winston returning to the Saints on a 1-year, $8 million max deal with incentives. Eric Kendricks is signed by the Chargers. Panthers re-sign center Bradley Bozeman. The Broncos re-sign linebacker Alex Singleton to a 3-year, $18 million deal. So those are some of the things going on in the NFL. Again, not a lot of, big news overall right now, outside of the stuff we talked about. And then for the Dolphins, Mike White gets a 2-year contract. $4.5 million of it is guaranteed. It's really not a big deal, actually. It's a small deal. David Long Jr., the linebacker for the Titans. We had Blaine Bishop on earlier on the show. He was fantastic talking about David Long. We talked about Tannehill and everything else too. He signed a 2-year, $11 million deal. Duke Riley also re-signs with the team. So a lot of solid moves for the Miami Dolphins to start off a beautiful Tuesday. All right. And your questions are pretty much going to carry us because we don't have a lot. On the music side, Kenny Loggins, by the way, has extended his farewell tour to add a couple of dates. New York, our friends in the Beacon Theater, you will get to see him September 12th. If you are in Clearwater, Florida, here in my backyard at Coachman Park, September 16th. And for our friends in Las Vegas, the Pearl Theater, October 6th, if you want to see a little Kenny Loggins. All righty. And also in music history, we've got a couple of things that went on today in music history on March 14th on this date. In 1982, on this date, in Anaheim, California, Radio City, a band called Metallica made their live debut. And a couple of decades later, in 2003, Ozzy Osbourne held a farewell tour for Roberto Trujillo, who was leaving the Prince of Darkness's group to join Metallica. In 83, John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, Alex John Such formed Bon Jovi. And then Runaway came out right after. In 2005, U2 was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Other acts inducted that night were The Pretenders, Buddy Guy, The OJs, and Percy Sledge. In 71, on this date, Janis Joplin had her only top 40 hit with Me and Bobby McGee, which went to number 1. The Chris Christopherson penned song stayed on the Billboard's pop singles charts for 2 weeks. I had no idea that Chris Christopherson wrote Me and Bobby McGee. I did not know that. Okay, I know the song very well because I know a lot of Janis's music. I got a lot of her music, But I didn't know that he wrote that song. You learn something every day. In 73 on this date, Elton John topped the singles charts with Crocodile Rock. Great tune. So there you go. Big O, can you get Eric Ezukama on the show? Would like to hear his experience, even though he didn't play. We can try. We can try. Fish re-signed Mostert. Yes, we got that already. Hope they are not in your backyard, Big O. Think about the grass. Huh? I didn't get that one. I don't know what that means. Hope they're not in your backyard, Big O. Think about the grass, and he's laughing. Oh, did we show the video? Is that what it was? What was on the... I don't know. You got me there, King Short. The joke went over me. I didn't pick up on it. I apologize. Devin Jordan, Big O, if the Dolphins signed Poyer, there would be no weaknesses on this defense. Yeah, it would be pretty nasty. If they signed Poyer, it would be the best secondary in the NFL by miles. It's not. It wouldn't even be close. There is no discussion going on. If you sign Jordan Poyer, best secondary in the NFL. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we're going to get a motivated X, and X has Jalen Ramsey on the other side, so he's going to want to also not be the weak link. That's the beauty of having all kinds of great players around. The pressure amongst themselves, they're going to add more pressure to themselves because they don't want to be the weak link of it all. So it makes them even better. Bitcoin back over 26,000. It's a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing, man. Just a matter of time. That's all. Just a matter of time, folks. That Bitcoin was going to take over. And it's really not taking over yet. This is just one of those things that I think this is kind of, the funny part about markets and people that do like, statistical analysis, and they try to break down with charts and all that and predict. To me, the charts can help you to a certain extent, but charts can't predict a war, can't predict a supply chain issue, can't predict a pandemic, can't predict bank closings and Feds pushing rates and all these other things, whether they could be positive or negatives. And like in this case, I think what the Feds have done has become a positive for Bitcoin, whereas a pandemic is a negative for Bitcoin. A lack of liquidity is a negative for Bitcoin. A war is a negative for Bitcoin or stocks or everything else. You know what I'm saying? For investments. But it's funny how the technical analysis stuff is fine, and it can help at times, but it really is not the ultimate. It can't even come close to being the ultimate predictor. Why? Because so much shit happens in life that you can't control. And Signature Bank and all this, and the other bank, Silvergate, whatever, these are things that nobody expected. We didn't know about it. And then that changes everything. And I think that was a plus for Bitcoin, because people are realizing your money is shit, and that Bitcoin holds up a lot better than the dollar ever will. Dollar's never going to go from $1 to 25,000. Oh, I'm sorry, 26,000 now. Never going to happen. If you put your money in at 16.5, the recent low, and now you're at 26,000, dude, you're making a lot of money. So it's interesting. It's interesting. That's why technical analysis does not really cover all the bases a lot of times. But anyway, it is what it is. What can I tell you? Carlos says, you're going to call me a negative person or whatever, but I cannot get excited over the Dolphins winning the offseason. I've been burned too many times. I want wins, but I'm tempering my enthusiasm. It's fine. You can do that. I'm going to get excited. Last year they would have won more if it wasn't for injuries. Had nothing to do. You're talking about all those teams that never lived up to any hype because they weren't really good enough. That's all. That's what's happened in the past. You're hoping what? That Pat White or Jay Fiedler or Chad Pennington take you to the title? That, Ryan Tannehill or Joe Philbin or the late Tony Sperano or Dave Wanstead, they're championship coaches? No. So the only letdowns from the past, and they were only about a move or two. Oh, we got Ricky Williams. Oh, we got Ndamukong Suh. Oh, we got Mike Wallace. Oh, it wasn't because you really were like looking really good. Like you had, last time I checked, I don't remember when they had the number one rated passer. I don't know, but since Marino, I don't remember the number one rated passer. Again, you guys want to continue to live in the fucking past and think about the stupid past and think about how stupid we were in the past. Okay? Not that I believed in Ndamukong Suh, because I was Mr. Negative. Okay? I did not go for the hype. Ricky Williams, loved Ricky, still said they didn't have what they needed. I was the negative guy at those times. So if you listen to the show, I wasn't buying into that stuff. The problem is you were, Carlos. You were buying into all of that stuff. I never bought into it. That's why people used to call me all the time Mr. Negative, because I didn't buy into Joe Philbin, didn't buy into Tony Sperano. What do you want me to do? You guys bought into it. You overhyped yourself that Ricky was going to make you the difference when you didn't have a quarterback and a head coach anyways. You guys thought that the Ndamukong Suh was going to make your defense super dominant when he didn't even make Detroit's defense dominant. But that was the narrative out there. I remember having a very heated exchange with Joe Rose about that, because he was one of the silly ones thinking that Ndamukong Suh was going to change the face of the team and the defense. And I'm like, no, he's not. So the problem has been in the past that you all, most of the time, were buying into a bunch of bullshit hype. This isn't bullshit hype. We have one of the better offensive minds in football right now. We have the number one rated quarterback in the league. We have a pair of wide receivers that can only be compared to Duper and Clayton. Okay? We have a pair of corners that you haven't had since Sam Madison and Pat Surtain. So, and now you're putting it all together. I'm telling you things that were part of different eras. Now we're mixing all of these elements together. You don't want to get hyped? That's your problem. You want to live in the past, and because you bought into the hype of whatever we had in the past, you go ahead and do it. This is completely different. I keep telling you, this is a different front office. This is a different head coach. This is a different quarterback. They've got the stuff they need now. They got to tweak it a little bit, which is what they're doing, and then they need a little luck. Like every championship most of the time needs a little luck. So you guys want to live in the past, you go ahead and live in the past. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of the present. I told you I'm going to enjoy this offseason. I'm going to enjoy Zach Thomas getting inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Sean and I will be there to cover it. I'm going to enjoy this preseason coming up, and I'm getting ready for the regular season, and I'm hoping for the best. The only thing, I wasn't let down last year because the team let me down. Really, the injuries let me down. This is not what we've had in the past. I'm sorry. I completely disagree with any of you out there that have the same kind of thinking. True Fin fan, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, why can't people just be happy? Go Fins. Big O, as always, just look at the markets in the long term. With discipline and patience, it wins in the long term with a low PETA, pain in the ass factor. Big O, it's interesting you think they move Cater inside to play nickel now. Well, yeah, I have no choice now with Jalen, But if you have a badass tight end you're facing, you could move Jalen inside and put Kohu outside for the moment. For that game or a couple of plays or something like that. Mickey says, I've been a Dolphin fan since 91. This is by far the most talented team that I can recall them having. Yeah. And with a real quarterback. They haven't had a real quarterback since Marino. Let's see. All these safeties being signed and Poyer's still out there. Oh, why? Don't know, bro. Don't know. Maybe he's asking for too much money. Maybe he's working on a deal right now and they're working on the particulars. I have no idea, my friend. Ragin says those teams were below average players with a couple of big names. This team is above average with a few great players. How do I know? They're winning when they shouldn't win. Yep. Emilio Hernandez, thank you, sir. Appreciate you on the super chat. And remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can also make a donation. We get 100% of the donation there. On YouTube here, we get 70%. YouTube takes 30%. So that's why. And remember, you can make a Bitcoin donation on Cash App or Venmo. Emilio says, Big O, follow me on this. Friday, sun setting on a long and productive week. I'm pouring a glass of 12-year-old Weller and lighting a 2017 Davidoff cigar. What are you having in that awesome backyard? I'll have a 10th anniversary Perdomo Maduro and a little vodka and a little Edge. And that's it. And I'll relax. GP Trap says this Fins team had Buffalo beaten with a backup quarterback. Buffalo was AP Ryder's #1 pick to go to the Super Bowl. Dolphins could beat any team when healthy, and we just got better. I'm with you, GP Trap. I'm not allowing the past to cloud my fun on this, my entertainment. I'm not allowing the media that have a job out there to create, clicks and all that kind of shit for their business. I don't have to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't answer to anybody. It's just me and Sean, and that's it. And for me, I'm going to enjoy this because I really want the Dolphins to win. If I don't think they're good enough, I'll tell you, man. I've been telling you for decades they weren't good enough. It's funny that I was the hater when they never could get over the hump, and I kept telling everybody they can't get over the hump because of this, that, whatever. And so now I'm the guy that is super bullish on these Dolphins now. And, it's like, I guess I'm blind and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It's weird. It's just weird. Edward Thurston Howell says a lot of things have to go right to win football games and have a successful season. The right players, the right coaching, right play calling, and execution of those plays. Amen, Edward. Thank you for the love on the super chat. Appreciate you as always. What else do we have? Big O, do you trade Baker? Yeah, I think they'll try to trade Baker. Okay. Big O, I'm not comfortable with the same O-line so far. Need to sign a good O-lineman. Yes, relax. It just started. We're 2 days into free agency. Chill out, bro. Last year we had people complaining, and then they dropped the Tyreek Hill one on us, late in free agency. It was a couple weeks in, And people were, the Dolphins aren't making many moves. And then, boom, it happened. Relax. Let's see what happens. We still have the rest of free agency and we have the draft. We have time, okay? We can't be overreacting on just a couple of, hours into this stuff. All right? Let's just be patient. And I think things will end up, working out. EJD Construction, by the way, Dade Broward, only in Dade and Broward County, 305-433-4843, folks. Custom home construction, major home remodeling. You're looking to redo your home, call EJD Construction. You want to, plan on customizing anything and everything around the house, they can do that for you, okay? Whatever it is you want to do in the front yard, in the backyard, whatever it is you want to do inside, modernize the kitchen, maybe create a really crafty, what's it called, the media room or theater room, those kind of things. They do it all. 305-433-4843, fully insured, liability and workers' comp. So if anybody ever gets hurt in your home while they're working, you will never get sued. And that's because they're fully insured. Please do not ever hire any business that isn't fully insured when they step into your home. EJD Construction is. Go to their Instagram page and check out some of their work at EJD Construction and call Eric. This is the owner's personal cell number, 305-433-4843, and tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you, they will take care of you. Let's see. True Fin Fan says, I've been agreeing with Big O since the days that he was calling Ryan Tannehill. Nothing more than a game manager on his best day. He was looked at as a Grinch by his peers, and I knew he was right. Well, what can I tell you? Now everybody realizes what I've realized from day one about Ryan. Great young man, but he's a game manager on his best day. That's it. That's all he can do. He's not ever going to be the difference maker and a franchise quarterback, ever. The fans want to hurry up to slow down. Same as last year, yeah. Big O, the problem is many in the fan base don't know about football and being taught by others that don't know football. You know football, so you can see as the improvements in future is bright. Perspective. Let's hope so. We just need luck this year, man. Just a little luck. That's all I want the Dolphins to have. Just some luck. Stay healthy. Aaron says, I do agree with Big O. Don't forget, after the draft, many players get released. Need to be patient. Yes. Anyone still hating on Greer and Tua can go on an eternal darkness retreat, says Clyde. Frankie, no, they don't need a wide receiver, my friend. They're fine at wide receiver. They need a tight end. They need that two-way tight end. And hopefully they'll pick my guy Tucker. If they do that, then I'll be a happy camper. Okay? Get me Tucker and we're all right. We'll be set. Okay? And it's North Dakota State, Tucker Kraft. That's who I want. Let's see. Solid pickups so far. I put all my faith on Greer. The organization knows our window has arrived. Dude, Tua's an effing game manager. At no point will he ever be the overcoming of our shortcomings. Okay. Fish have a 2-year window now. I've been saying that already. Big O are the same age. We think the same. And I think only the one time I haven't agreed with him, I like the new Batmobile and Big O didn't. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I don't like the. Yeah, no, I like the classic Batmobile. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the new one as much. You're right about that. Big O, I bet Chris Greer can interleague trade Kyle Lowry for 4 first-round picks and somehow get Laramie Tunsil, only to trade him back for additional picks. LOL. The New York Packers, Rodgers, Lazard, and Cobb. They're signing Cobb too? Oh man. The Patriots have tendered DB Miles Bryant at the right of first refusal level, so he'll make $2.6 million in 23. Okay. So there you go. Trying to keep up with some of this stuff that's coming in and seeing if there's anything new. Nothing new right now for the Dolphins, at least. I don't know if Sean is seeing anything different, but I don't see anything at the moment. All right, folks. I'm pretty much out of material.
Nothing on the Dolphins. That's the only thing I'm keeping a track on is Dolphins. I'm not going to cut in. There's so much happening. I'd be cutting in every 2 seconds.
Yeah. No, and I'm kind of keeping up with all the other minutia. So I'm kind of. I think I've mentioned pretty much everything that's gone on with other teams. Kraft is South Dakota State. Did I say North Dakota? South Dakota State. Okay, my bad. I like him. Razzle Dazzle Crypto. That is the one dude that I think in that second round, that's the one dude that I think might make it there. I don't think he'll make it to the third round pick. And if they don't pick him in the second and he makes it all the way to the third, that is some ballsy stuff there. But I like him. He's a two-way tight end. He's got some movement to him, bro. He can run. He catches really well, and he can block. Tucker Kraft is my guy for the Dolphins. What else do we have? Big O, I predict Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets and retires after 2 years, just like Brett Favre, LOL. Probably. Or maybe only after one. After 1 year of dealing with the New York media, yeah, I think so. Damo, congratulations on 17K subs, brother. Enjoy your day, sir. See you when Miami signs Wagner. I don't know if they'll sign Wagner now. Would be pretty amazing if they do, actually. But, and thank you. We're trying to get to 20K. We're at 17.7 now, so we're getting closer to 18. So please subscribe while you're watching, man. Help us grow and hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Hitting the like button is very important. We got 440 people that are watching right now. So important for us if you hit the like button. It really is. It's huge. So, and whenever you're listening to the podcast at any time, day or night, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, all that stuff. Oh, does Hooker last into the second round where we draft? Yeah, there's a chance because of the injury. Yes, there's a chance Hendon Hooker's there at 51, right, is where they pick. Yeah, I think there's a chance. If they take him, I would not complain at all. But they have 3 guys now. If that would not mean well for Skyler if they do that. But I mean, Hendon Hooker, he's talented, man. He's talented. I like that kid. 2-year Greer special is in full effect. He's in the bag right now. Finally, don't have to overpay for a free agent. Still in shock. We got Ramsey. I know. Ramsey for nothing. I have not heard anything on Poyer, Tank. I'm sorry. I don't know anything about it right now. Okay, so, Wow. Rob, man, I bought a red recover for my German Shepherd. He has 14 screws on his rear leg and hip, got hit by a car. I tried everything else. Very thankful for the personnel they took with my dog. And Rob, man, you're an angel too, man, because you stay by your dog. And I'm sure the red recover wrap will help him out a little bit. Will help him have, less discomfort. Our dogs are like our kids, huh? Right? Like that's how I treat my dogs, man. I treat my dogs like my kids. Like I hug them like my kids. I kiss them like my kids or kid because I only have one. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's they're so important to me and my wife. It's just one of those things that everything we're doing, we think about things we want to do, but we're always thinking about them too in the process. That's kind of how it is when you have a dog. It's like having kids. You've taken on that responsibility. But hopefully the love that you carry for your kid or for your dogs or cats, it doesn't make it a burden, right? Because you're doing it from your heart, not anywhere else. So it's not something that seems bothersome or anything like that, because you want your child to be a part of your life all the time, and you want your dogs to be a part of your life, all the time, because it's just one of those things. Those of us that are dog people, it's kind of like when dogs are around, it's just better. That's just the way it is, you know. It's better at the dinner table, even if they're right there next to you, waiting for you to drop something. It's better if you're watching television. It's better if you're just hanging out, whatever. Life is just better when dogs are a part of it. It's one of those things. So, yeah, it's the best. The best. Love my dogs. Big O, what's up with Ginkle? Kind of surprised no one has signed him. Maybe Flo. Well, remember, because he didn't get a ton of playing time here, he doesn't get really showcased the way he should. So he kind of goes under the radar, which I think is kind of a break for the Dolphins, because maybe you can then re-sign him and you don't have to re-sign him for a ridiculous amount. I like Van Ginkel. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. I hope he stays here with Fangio. Unless Tua gets a concussion first play and out for the season, we're not going to have the first pick. And if he goes down like that, then Brady probably shows up. Let's just, I'm expecting Tua to play and play well and play at an incredibly high level, and the Dolphins play at a high level, and let's have some fun. I'm not thinking about, injuries and all that. Can Fangio revive Egbo's career? Nah. No, you mean Iggy? He's done, bro. Iggy doesn't have it. That's all. It's pretty simple. He just hasn't shown shit for 4 years, dude. We got to let it go already. Got to let it go. Oh, would you want to have a beer and a smoke with Lennon, Hendricks, or Marley? Hendricks, for sure. Yeah. Lennon second and then Marley third. But Hendricks for sure. I mean, you're talking about my favorite guitarist of all time. So, yeah. Big O, any advice for someone who has never had a dog but is thinking of getting one? Simple. Are you going to love your dog? Are you going to give it the attention it deserves? If you're not Karen, don't get the dog. Okay? That's all I'm going to. If the dog's going to be alone all the time and you're not going to give it attention and all that, then don't get it. If you're going to love the dog and give it attention, that's all I'm telling you need to do. Feed it and give it love. All right? And the best part is, whatever love you give it, it's going to give it back to you tenfold. All dogs do that. Okay? That's just their nature. They are the best animals that the Lord has ever made. Because they're kind of semi-human beings, to be quite honest. They have feelings just like we do. They sense and feel everything like we do. They know when you're hurting. They're amazing animals. So the only thing I would say is, if you're going to have a dog, give it the love and the attention that it deserves and that it needs. As long as you're going to do that, then you're going to have an incredible experience, because that's what all of us have when we have dogs. You give it the love it deserves, you're going to get it back tenfold, and you're going to be, you're going to want 10 of them. That's what you're going to want. True Fin Fan says, I'm a big-time dog lover. Our 4-year-old 100-pound pit lives inside the house, and our 1-year-old cockapoo also, both house-trained and treated like our children. Exactly. Only way to do it, man. Trading Cedric Wilson pre-June would create about $6 million in cap space. Post-June creates $7 million. Cutting him only saves $1 million. Well, they will try to trade him. That's for sure. They're going to try to trade him. And supposedly the Cowboys were like, depressed that they lost him. But again, you're not going to get much in return. You'll get some kind of a late pick. What else do we have here? So Lamar Jackson tweets out $133 million, 3 years fully guaranteed, but I need an agent. Yeah, you need an agent, moron. You would have had your contract 2 years ago. So yes, you do need an agent. It's the ignorance that Lamar has shown with all of this is just ridiculous. What else? Cut, trade, release, Baker, Wilson, Jackson, Sanders, Igbenogamy, and Crossan. Igbenogamy, there's no reason to cut him right now. You can let him practice with the team all offseason and into training camp. You can cut him when you get to 53. There's no hurry because give him time. What the hell? You're not gaining anything, but it doesn't hurt you to give him reps there, and maybe we're all wrong and the dude's light goes on. You know what I mean? Maybe Fangio can reach him, but he's already under contract. You gain nothing at this point. You gain and lose nothing. So you're better off just keeping him on the roster until you got to get to 53. And if he can't earn a spot, you cut him and you move on finally, and that's it. Billy Crystal is 75 today. Nice. Happy birthday to him. Coaches like McDaniel and the system will make the QB better, and I'm convinced that they see Mike White as a player that can be tuned up to be very solid. Let's hope so. D Wolverine 305 says, thank you for the love in the super chat, by the way. Need to stop it with these. If Tua gets another concussion, et cetera, et cetera. Just be positive for one off season. LOL. So many negative Nancy's. Just be happy. What are you going to do? Oh, if you're the GM of the Cardinals and you end up with the number 1 overall next year, do you try to move off of Kyler and go for a hard reset? The roster looks abysmal. The problem is, Leo, how are you trading Kyler? Who the hell wants him at this point? You're going to have to give up a pick for them to take that salary. So that person has to be convinced. So in order to trade him next year, let's say, you would have to, hope that he has a really good year or something like that. But if he plays the way he's played, it's not really going to get you anywhere. They're so screwed with that contract. Oh, my God. They probably have to wait 2 more years to actually maybe get off of that contract. Yeah, at least 2 more years. My dog, Lena, is the most important thing in my life, says Red, even over family members. I live alone with her in a cabin in North Carolina. She saved my life after an accident on my property 4 years ago. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I'm glad you're all right, Red. Dogs are amazing. And by the way, I do love my dogs more than most people. So, yeah. And some family members for sure. Yes. Diggum Smack says, dogs are soulful. Unfortunately, the pill mills have found their ways into the dog houses now, too. Is your dog suffering from depression? No. No, our dogs, thank the Lord, are absolutely awesome and super energetic and happy and all that. We got all our dogs since they were young, since they were puppies. So when we adopted them as puppies. And so they've grown up completely with us. And, so that's it. We've been fortunate. I mean, but I think it's also that my wife and I spoil our dogs with a lot of love. So it doesn't, it's only going to end one way, right? They're going to be super lovable back. That's just the way it goes. The idiots that mistreat their dogs and have them tied up and starving and you treat them like shit, and that's why the dog's mean and nasty and all that. It's not the dog's fault. It's the environment you created around them. They're going to be what you make them to be. So if they know you're a loving person, then they can't wait to see you. When I'm done with the show and I'm finished in studio and then I go downstairs to see my dogs, they act like they haven't seen me in years. And it's only been a couple of hours. It's awesome. It's pretty awesome. Any of you that own dogs, you know what I'm talking about. You experience the same thing. Cutting Noah before or after June 1st will cost the Finns $3 million against the cap. The team only gains $500,000. It's a net loss. This is the year you just play it out, bro. Just play it all the way out through training camp at this point. And that's it. And then you let them go. I'm pretty sure that's it. Emilio says, get a dog that fits your lifestyle is important. Dogs don't ask to be taken so like children. Make sure you give them what they need: exercise, playtime, training, and good nutrition and medical care. Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you're going to own one, give a shit about it, man. Really care about your dog. The Tua speculation with injuries is ridiculous. Greasy used to miss a couple of games every year. So did Montana. It didn't stop them from winning and putting together a Hall of Fame career. Big O, are you heading to the Great Smoke in West Palm Beach this weekend? Perdomo will be there. Best cigar event in Florida. You know what? Maybe I should go. Maybe I'll go with the wife and go out there and hang out. It's a good idea. You might see me there. Big O, how can some people eat dogs, man? What the hell? In Asia, they do all kinds of things with animals, bro. People, don't hit your dogs or any pets. A man in Texas got 25 years in jail for beating his 6-month puppy. Lucky someone recorded him. Thank God. Dolphins restructure Yes, we know. And they got a bunch of cap space. We know. All right, we are out of here. We thank Blaine Bishop, the 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. Blaine's a friend of the program, and after they got David Long, I figured we'd get him on since he is a former Titan and Oiler, and he does the broadcast. Get his thoughts on David. So if you missed that, you may want to check that out. We talked to Manny Navarro, talked a little Canes also with him. So those are a couple of interviews if you missed them. Sean Stanley, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that drives and of course, manages the entire damn platform, all right? He's the man that makes it happen. We will see you all tomorrow at 8:45 Eastern. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.